Welcome to Swish and Flick, an all-Potter podcast.
Swish and flick. Everyone? Swish and flick.
Hey Swishers, we are talking full-on Cursed Child this episode. So if you want to hashtag keep the secrets, turn it off now because we Slytherins here do not keep secrets. Basically, we're talking about it, so shut it off if you don't want to listen.
Okay, bye! Hello and welcome to Swish and Flick. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Megan.
I'm Katie.
And I'm your favorite Sarah.
And today we are starting with a quick, what would you call this? Pre-show
A
Yeah.
prequel.
kind of thing.
Well, we're going to
Well,
talk
this
about
whole thing is going to be like a Cursed Child discussion, but right now, the four of us have not gone yet together.
Together, yes.
Yeah, so this is like us talking about pre-show, and then we'll talk about it after we've seen it. All in one lovely episode, so you don't have to wait.
And if we sound a little different, it's because we're in a hotel room.
On a snowball, which is
Yeah.
a microphone that you guys probably don't know what that is, but it's not as good quality as our normal ones, so we apologize.
And it is indeed not made of snow.
No.
Okay. So,
There will be no snow in New York when we are recording.
correct. It is gorgeous. So, how do we want to start? What do you think?
Do you guys just want to, we can go around and say our expectations?
Okay.
Aw, shnikes.
I did that the other day.
I'm putting makeup on while we're doing this, and I just got mascara all over my finger. Tis gone now.
Alright, so I'm going in expecting to see a lot of
Children. A
Really?
lot of curses.
cool, I want to see some cool magic.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see some, flashy lights kind of stuff. What else? I want to see some really great costumes. And I'm going to expect that I'm going to like it when I come out, actually. I think that seeing Cursed Child in the way that it was intended to be seen is going to hopefully change my view of it. I know I'm not going to, be like, oh my god, I love it so much, but I'm going to,
Appreciate it more.
yeah, because, I appreciate it, but I'm like,
Yeah.
So I hope that this changes that for me.
I want to go last.
Okay.
I
But
always
they've
do.
seen it!
That's okay.
Well, but, okay,
They have
so
not seen the original cast.
Right,
This is
so-
the original people.
what
Oh, okay.
I'm most excited about is to see Noma.
Oh,
I thought you were going to
Hermione?
say Newt.
No, Noma, who
Playing
plays Hermione.
Yeah.
I just she's won awards for her
She's
role
responded
here.
to me on Twitter before.
Oh, really?
Really? That's cool.
So I'm really excited to see her, and then I'm also super excited to see, is it Anthony Boyle who
Yeah.
plays Scorpius? I've heard amazing things about his specific portrayal of Scorpius, and so Katie and I saw it in London, as you guys know, and that wasn't the original cast, so it was I think we were on our third cast almost for London when we went.
Was it the really cute Ron?
It was an okay Ron.
Like,
does that
cute. He
mean?
was really
I mean-
cute looking.
You couldn't see him super close up.
We were pretty far away, but yeah, I mean, obviously, we've talked about it before, it did change. It changed how much I liked it, seeing it, just because I feel like you can't read the way that the characters are supposed to be very
Right.
well whenever you're reading a script like that, and, it just, everybody's always so up in arms about how horrible the Father Harry is in the book
Yeah.
when they're reading it, but, seeing it acted out, you can, feel his emotion more. You didn't say that. He wasn't the way that he was because he's a mean person. He, it was it was an in-the-moment parent, I'm annoyed with you, this is coming out and I know it shouldn't, and he instantly regrets it. But, that doesn't come across when you're reading it.
Right. Is it reading too much into a text message?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, because, you're reading it with, no emotion, you can't hear how they're supposed to
And
say
then you
things.
make it up
and-
yourself, and it might
Right.
not be how it's intended.
Yeah, and I totally read Scorpius different than how he's acted, and, he didn't really make sense to me while I was reading it, but seeing how he acts that rollout just, like, it made Scorpius the coolest character. He's my favorite character in this, so I'm just super excited to see the original cast.
Yeah. I can see that. Like, I feel very lucky.
That this is the first time, and it's the OG.
Yeah.
Well, Meg took everything I was going to say. So,
Sorry.
No, it's
No.
okay. I agree with everything she's saying. But, yeah, I'm excited specifically for the original cast because these are the people who were first picked.
They created it.
Yeah, like, they are the ones who started it, you know, from the very beginning. And then I'm excited to see how Sarah and Tiffany like it, you know, because Meg and I both went in and we were like, we don't really like Chris Child. Like, it's okay, but then we came
I didn't
out loving
hate it, but I didn't love it.
Right, and
you
I know that Sarah hasn't finished reading it, so I'm curious to see, like, how she reacts.
You don't know if she does nurse
You don't know what I... You don't know.
Sarah is
She
very
hasn't, though.
critical, which is a good thing. But, so I'm excited to see...
You are?
Yeah, you
what?
are. So I'm excited to see if this changes any of her thoughts at all.
And if it doesn't on either of you, that's cool. Peppers and opinions. But I'm excited for you guys to see it as it's supposed to be.
so that you understand what we've been saying.
Yes.
Peppers and opinions.
And I'm super excited to see the OG Scorpius because I love him.
He's a cutie patootie.
His chemistry with Albus, I mean, they should just be a thing.
I
Let's just
agree.
get it out
I
there.
ship them.
I don't
I
hate
ship
it.
them so hardcore.
I
was actually...
when I read it, I thought it was a
Maybe.
thing.
I was genuinely angry when Rose came into the picture. I'm like,
So my whole journey with Chris Child, it's very weird to do this not looking at a computer.
I know.
With, like, notes to tell you.
I'll be your screen.
Okay. So when it first came out, I was like, I'm not reading this stuff. Because it probably didn't say the word stuff.
She almost said a cursed child.
I did, and after we started this whole thing, I was like, I'm going to buy it because I got really excited about going back into this journey. And I started reading the play, and then I got to, like, the part where, like, I think they got off the train, and the lady went crazy.
I don't remember hardly anything.
And I was just like, and I will say, like,
Except
it
you
came
read
out,
it.
and I read spoilers online, so I knew, like, a bunch of the plot line and all that stuff.
that's
'cause-
what you do.
yeah, that's the type of person I am. So, to me, the whole thing read more like a fan fiction and all that stuff. So, I was just like, this is not my thing. Joe can say it's canon. I just am not that I wouldn't acknowledge it, like, cool beans, whatever. I'm just not going to get that far into the story. Yeah.
Guys, what if she, like, shows up?
Okay.
oh man, I would die.
I'm gonna scream down the street, Jojo! and run after her and probably get tackled by security for something.
Well, I'll get it on camera,
It'll
so.
be great footage.
So, and then it came, I bought the book, so I knew what was gonna happen. I knew most of the plot points and all that stuff. Then I started, well, I shouldn't say it, it's not a book, it's a play. Got the play, started reading it, and then stopped. And I haven't picked it up, and I asked, actually, people, because I knew we're gonna go see this for about a year and a half, and I was like, should I read the play completely, even though I know what happens? And then people were like, no, you need to be surprised. I'm like, I think you guys forget that I already know, because I, like, read spoilers. And then people...
You forget so much. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. But then there were people who, like, got into, like, a little bit of a tiff about, like, reading plays, because... Like they said, like, there's one thing to read. You're really just reading all of their lines. So you don't get to see all the background stuff and all of the emotions that you put into words. And
You're not in their head like you're in Harry's head in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
you don't get, like...
That's what makes it so hard.
Yeah.
And that's true with the screenplay and
Like the Crimes
a
of
play.
Grindelwald
Yeah.
screenplay, yeah.
Yeah. Novels.
Well,
Joe.
here's the thing, though. You've heard Eddie Redmayne even say, he goes, I've never read a screenplay this detailed. So she puts detail into her screenplays as well.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna need a novel anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. But so that all of that is lacking, and I know that going in reading a play that you're not going to get what you'd get when you're seeing it, because it's meant to be seen. Like a screenplay is meant to be seen. So I'm excited, but I'm skeptical that I'm going to. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to love it. I'm excited that it's the original cast. That's the first time I've ever seen any play ever with the original people, and I'm very excited for that.
Sorry.
So I hope I like it. We'll see. I just know Tiffany's probably like, she won't like it. She has to like.
It's exactly what I was just thinking.
It's gonna be like Crimes of Grindelwald, where you have to like take a step back and like think
settle.
about it for a while, and then like come to terms.
I'm
Sarah,
still not a huge fan of Crimes.
Well, that's because you haven't warmed to it yet.
It sounded like you said warmed.
I think that
Worm.
this is a little bit of a different topic, but it's kind of similar with like Cursed Child, and who knows if we'll get more of this story ever. I don't know. But, like, especially with Crimes, like, maybe looking back after we see film 5, you'll go back to Crimes and be like, it wasn't so bad. You know?
Yeah, you never know.
You just have to wait until you get everything. But I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing with, the coolest thing with Cursed Child is all of the special effects, and I'm super
just gonna
excited
say.
to see your guys' reactions to how they do a lot of things. It's just really, like, where we were sitting in London, I saw how they did some stuff, and I know that, like, that wasn't really their intention. It was just, like, we were up pretty high, and we're up pretty high tonight, too. So,
We liked that, though.
But I liked it. Like, it was really cool being able to figure out how they did some stuff that they did.
So
and-
yeah, so like, are we like nosebleeds?
I mean, we're in the
or-
balcony.
Honestly, it was fine, though.
Am I gonna be
It
able to
was
see?
fine. Yeah.
It's
She asked because
stadium
she's
seating,
short.
so
It should be stadium.
I'm
seating.
seriously like itching to like say special effects that I love.
Don't.
But I'm not going to,
We
obviously.
will
But like I'm
later.
so excited to discuss it later.
You know that I'm like, you can go ahead and tell me. I don't care.
Seeing them do spells is really cool. Seeing
No,
how, you
there's
know.
one thing that is
Oh,
my
I'm
favorite.
I'm
I think-
excited to see the theater because
Polyjuice potion?
when we went to
I don't remember things. Stop talking.
I'm just.
when we went to
No.
the History of Magic
that's my
tour
It was cool.
in November, we at the very end of the tour they had like the whole theater set up. How they have it, like they had a, I don't know what that's called, like a mock-up kind of thing. So I'm excited to see that like in person. I'm excited, but I'm just
Oh, the
like,
set.
yeah, the
Yeah,
set and all of that stuff. And I know there's a bunch of extra.
The set is very, like, it's basic but involved. It's really neat.
Yes.
It's neat.
Interesting.
And I do like Scorpius and Albus together. I also do enjoy the idea of Scorpius and Rose together. So.
See, I
don't hate
couldn't
it.
stand Scorpius when I read him, and then I saw him, and I was like, I love
He
you.
well, when I was
Yeah.
reading him, he felt so different than like Malfoy as a kid, which
Yes.
is he's also Malfoy, but like Draco as a kid. But also, and I've always said this: you are a product of your environment, and he's a product of.
I
They're
think it's
both products
because-
of their environment.
I think it's because of Scorpius's mother that he's quite different from Draco.
but I
he'll
also
learn
think
that.
like even Draco was different in the
Yeah.
play.
Oh,
So.
yeah.
Well, Draco grew up.
Well, you have to
Yes.
think about like what happened at the end of 7.
Yeah.
I mean, I guarantee.
Draco saw the worst of what could happen.
I bet you that family went. Boop.
Are his parents still alive?
I don't know. I mean, they're not in the play at all.
Someone
But-
pointed out that this is the year that Scorpius's mom dies. The
That's
story, and I
sad.
was like, oh, that's really sad.
Oh, like
Like in real
2019?
time?
Yeah, real time life.
I almost said 2018. That would have been wrong.
I was thinking 2018 in my head.
And they like say it super briefly, but Astoria dies from a malediction.
Yeah.
Which
A
is
blood malediction.
a blood malediction, just
Yeah.
like Nagini has.
Yeah.
But I bet you there's different kinds.
Do
Oh, for
you?
sure. I would think so.
I bet, because Nagini doesn't die from hers. She just stops being able to turn back into a
Because her head
human.
gets popped off.
You know who's
Well, that's
not
true.
in the play? Teddy Luby. Just saying.
I mean, that's Hugo.
Hugo, yes.
But Hugo's mentioned like twice.
Yeah.
I don't
know.
know. I mean, she didn't really write.
Isn't Hugo in the very beginning? For
I
a
think they
scene?
just
'Cause it's
mentioned
like,
him.
I don't think he has
because
any
like the first scene is the last. Is
Right.
The
19 years later.
Yeah, 19 years later chapter.
I don't know the whole.
God,
just,
it's literally been
interesting.
since it came out.
It's-
I
I
read it
can't
in 2
wait.
days,
Thing.
and I haven't.
And
I
it-
can't wait for tomorrow to watch you guys bawl your eyes out.
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous to watch it again.
What?
Oh,
No,
Am I
it's-
gonna cry
'cause
for
it's
real?
so
You're gonna
good,
cry.
though. It's
On the
so
for real,
good.
for real? I'm gonna
Yeah.
For
cry.
real.
But
you're
so
gonna
doesn't
cry.
okay? So they go back in time and they like change it so his
Hey,
parents
I
are
don't
still
wanna
alive.
know.
You read the play.
I don't remember it though.
But they
They travel back a lot.
yeah, but they save his parents, right? And then he has to go back again and not save them. Like he has the chance to save it. When I read that, I like had a heart clenching moment.
They only go back to that time once.
But
Yeah.
he had a chance, right, to save his parents, and he didn't take it.
I remember that.
It's heart wrenching.
And you have to.
Well, it would have changed
Oh,
absolutely
oh.
everything.
Yeah.
I remember. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where he
yeah.
was, what,
It would have
in the
changed
church,
everything.
just
with-
waiting
Yeah.
and seeing the
Yes.
flash.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Am I right in that?
Just
Okay.
you wait, Henry Higgins. Just you wait.
You got
Katie
this.
cried.
I
So,
cried
here-
Like
bad.
bawled in
I
London.
didn't expect
Bawled.
it.
Okay,
Crying.
so I'm gonna
I-
need tissues for my issue.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that if Katie was crying, I'm gonna be a freaking mess because I cry at everything.
And
so.
the fact that this is the original cast, like, they
It was
probably
like-
just do it so good. Oh, I just...
Do you think this will be
I'm
like
so excited right
be
now.
like the very last movie cry? because
Oh, we were a freaking mess, you guys.
I was
Were we together?
sobbing. No.
No, we were in Florida.
Okay, that's right.
Because I sent them a long text message. Because,
Which
like,
ones did
that
we
was our
see
whole
together?
friendship. None of them.
We didn't see any Potters
I thought
together.
We didn't
did.
sit with them, I don't think. But we
You
were
can't
in the
sit
same
with us.
same theaters.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
For like 7 part 1. And maybe
Something.
6.
You and I saw at least 3 together, I think.
The last 3.
I think so.
So it must have been
Yeah.
6 in part 1. Like, we were at
Yeah.
Cinemark,
Yeah.
but we just didn't sit next to
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
And, like, if you've ever seen that I don't know if it's a meme or if it's just a cartoon where the kid, the guy's like in his robe in the theater and he's sobbing and they're like, dude, it's just like
It's
the
not.
logo and all you see is the
Yes.
WB sign.
That was
that
us.
was me. I was crying on my way to the theater.
God, it's
So,
just so emotional.
If that's anything like this, like if that emotion level, like
Do
I'll
they
be
have
crying
like
at the
John
play.
Williams score play? Oh.
I don't think so. The
I don't
music,
think so.
the music is cool though. I like the music a lot.
Well, I
we-
riot.
Do we want to do a reaction tonight and tomorrow night? Do 2
I
separate
think so.
ones?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
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 Because then we can talk about, like, what you're excited to see in part 2.
I feel
Yeah.
like I'm gonna be jazzed, or what would my dad would say, jacked way the heck up.
Yeah, it was really hard to see it 2 separate days. Like, I
Yeah.
just wanted to, like...
Marty's like, what is this? And I'm like, it's a really big deal.
Everyone, they're like, what do you mean it's 2 days?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's technically like it's 2 parts.
So like, how
So it's
long
2
is
plays.
tonight?
It's like 2.5 hours each night.
It's
Yeah.
like a normal
Okay.
play.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
long.
I
And
thought.
you
An
get
average
an-
is the average
You get an
play.
intermission and everything each night.
I will say, I think I like part 2 better.
Part 2 is better.
I'm getting nervous.
The ending of part 1, though, is just like...
Got the nervous
It's
tooth.
so good.
No, like
And-
I'm just like it's like an excited nervous.
Yeah.
'cause,
Yeah,
like,
no, I feel
want
that.
to go and I
I-
want to see it, but I
yeah.
also don't want it to be like over because then I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh,
Isn't
you know,
it crazy we're
oh, but like it is crazy that we're here, but it's also crazy like for Sarah and I because this is like it's like the ending to something that's been like that giant build up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
The last
you
time that
think you're-
happened, I cried for a week.
All right.
Crikey!
So
gonna-
that's
Go get some dinner.
yeah.
This is end of probably part 1 of 3 because if we do,
Yeah.
There's only Cursed Child part 1 and 2.
yeah,
But
but there's
there's
Swish and
Swish and
Flick
Flick.
part 3.
Switch Flick will bring you 1, 2, and 3 because we're extra.
Ding!
Hey,
No, it's
That's
in my
our bell.
bag.
all right.
Oh, we forgot the bell. We'll
It's
have to bring
alright.
it
I
tomorrow. or tonight.
Bing bing bong bong. All right. Those
Bing
are bells.
Ring!
So we're gonna wrap up this part.
Tune in next time for us talking about the first part actually being watched. Yes.
And also, hashtag, we're not going to keep the secrets because this is an episode with spoilers about Chris Child. So if you don't want to know anything, I would shut it off now.
I mean,
I would have
talked-
shut it off at the beginning.
Yeah. But people know that.
They should. We are not spoiler free.
Nope.
All right. Thanks for listening to this part. We'll come back in a couple seconds, but don't let those muggles get you down. All right. What do you want to say?
So,
Where
It
where
is-
where do we even start?
well, let's just start
So
with the
first of
date.
all-
It's Thursday,
Yes.
February 21st.
The third day.
Yes, the third day. Monday, one day. Tuesday, 2 day. Wednesday, what? Thursday, the third day. So we went and saw part uno,
Yes.
part 1 of Cursed Child today, and we're going to discuss it. Our thoughts, feelings.
What's your rating out of 10 right now?
7.
Ooh, it went up by 1
Ooh, ding.
I'm still at 9.
or 9.
Yeah, I'm still at 9.
Now,
I'm
Act 1 versus Act 2, basically.
Act 2 is much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well-
And it whipped by quicker.
yeah.
I didn't like Harry in Act 2 at all.
Yeah.
Like, it flopped where, like, in Act 1,
Yeah.
my sympathies were for Harry, and, like, Albus was, like, a not nice human.
Yeah.
And then Act 2, I was like, oh my god, Harry, like, calm down. You're mean.
I think that,
What was particularly mean though?
well,
How he, like,
keeping his son
just
separated from his
yes.
best friend.
Like, he's just assuming, like, and honestly, like, just because of who his father was does not mean that Scorpius is at all evil. And we know because we've seen it. We got to see it from a different angle
Yeah.
than Harry did.
Yeah.
And he thinks that, my kids can't do any wrong.
Because every parent thinks
yes.
that, for the most part.
But, like, just the things he said, and he's, like, blaming everything on Scorpius, which is unfair to him.
Oh, for
unfair
sure,
to
unfair.
unfair to Scorpius, unfair to Albus.
Yeah. Do we want to give a brief synopsis for people who maybe want to listen to this and have never seen it or read it?
You do you, boo.
So, part 1, we start off with basically the first scene is 19 years later. It's
Right.
that final chapter of book 7. They reenact it. It's almost verbatim, but not quite. So
she had a script for him.
So we see them at the platform, and Albus goes off, but then we get to follow him to school. So we see that he gets sorted into Slytherin, and he makes friends with Scorpius Malfoy, Draco's son.
Do we think he got sorted in Slytherin because he wanted to stay with the one person he felt closeness to at that moment?
I kind of think so.
Or did that bowler hat know what was gonna happen with those two in their friendship?
Well, we know how smart the Sorting Hat is.
That wasn't the sorting hat.
Oh, my gosh. It was a hat that sorted them.
Yeah, well, it wasn't right.
I think that it was a combination of probably both of those things.
Okay.
I think that the Sorting Hat placed him correctly because he is ambitious.
Yes.
He values ambition, for sure.
I mean, he's a mini Harry.
He really
Think about
is.
the risks that he takes to do the things that, you know.
And I think that this
thinks they're
right
right.
here is proof that Harry could have been a conundrum regardless if Voldemort was in him.
Without Voldemort, he would have been
he
tough.
still is a Gryffindor Slytherin.
Agreed.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that Albus is just this side of him coming out.
Yes.
So what if he's, like, the other side of the coin of Harry, where Harry was the Gryffindor, and he did all these things, and he was able to have all of these friends, and he was really, minus a couple here and there bits of his story, was, you know, well-liked with all of his peers.
Yeah.
He was the Gryffindor. He was a great Quidditch player, where...
He was James, his son
Well,
James.
but-
James lived that side of Harry.
But,
and
like, when
Albus
I'm-
is like the other side of what
Like, he's
Harry
not
could
that
have
great.
been.
Yeah, he's not that great at his spells, and he doesn't have any friends except for Scorpius.
And really was
he's a
Harry
Slytherin.
super good at spells without the help of Hermione?
I
mean,
think
he was.
I think it built up
I
over
think-
time. Naturally,
yes.
I think he's naturally good at
Right.
magic, but I think he became
But-
great.
And I think that's the same with Albus, because like
became-
we see him coming into his groove
Well,
now.
and
We're
yes.
in year 4 or whatever. at
Delphi
the end
and
of
whatever
this.
them in the
Ugh.
woods and stuff.
Yes, I agree. I think
Yeah.
that they both... I think Harry was able to become better quicker because he had that support system and all of those
Right.
friends behind him to be like, you are better than you think you are. And he had more trials and tribulations he had to go through.
Yeah.
But I do think that in that regard, they are very similar, where it takes him a bit to get used to, like, the actual magic of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I think he's just, you know, his other side, where he is the Slytherin. He doesn't like Quidditch. He's got one friend. Sorry, that's so sad, and I don't mean to laugh. They're so mean to him. Like, it was getting me so upset.
They're mean to Scorpius, too.
Yeah.
And
But-
but think back and think about how mean people were to Harry. Not
could've
even
been. Yeah, they
not
were.
even just thinking about Malfoy and Crabbe and Goyle. Like take them out of the equation completely. Think about how
Think
people
about how
treated
the
him
Hufflepuffs were during the Triwizard Tournament.
during the Triwizard Tournament. During when he was saying Voldemort was back, and everybody was like, "Yeah, you're
Yeah.
a nutcase," like stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, but not defending that at all.
but I'm just saying, like
He
people
only-
treated Harry like that as
but
well.
he only had to go through, 2 years of that, where you see every single year it's getting worse for him, where, like, people don't like him. And they make fun of him for who his father is. Do they say those things to James? Do they say those things to Lily? Probably not. Because they are both Gryffindors, where he's the Slytherin, he
dads.
does all this
They
stuff.
fit in. I think, okay, so to get back to this, this synopsis, it's like, so once, he becomes friends with Scorpius, he's a Slytherin, all that jazz, then it goes really quick from there to, like, year 4.
Yeah, like
2
so
and 3
you
fly.
that's something that threw me off because it's been literally since it came out. I got it I downloaded it the day that you could read the play. And I really legit did not remember the years flying that fast.
Yeah.
And I think it maybe only felt so intense because everything was very loud.
Yeah.
There's a lot of yelling.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that? Like, there's a lot of yelling. Like, Scorpius's part, he yells.
He was played differently in
Most
London.
things.
He was, like, timid. He was pretty timid in
Like,
London.
when he got... So, as I read him in the play, which, you know, whatever, that's not how he's supposed to be... Like, you're supposed to, like, watch him, right? You're not supposed to, like, create that yourself. Because it's not a novel. But the way that I, like, read him was when he was perfectly played, like, in his softer parts.
Yeah, I agree.
But, like, all the yelling threw me off.
Yeah.
And Draco's yelling threw me off.
Draco's
And
voice was
his voice is
gravelly.
weird. I do not like this. I'm sorry. I don't like it. I feel like he's trying to do a very bad version of a Batman.
He's trying to be a baddie, like a villain.
But, like,
You know what I mean?
but like,
Draco's
Draco was
not
a soft
in this.
voice
no,
villain.
I'm saying I don't like it either.
I
feel
know,
like he's
You
trying
know
so
what I
hard.
mean? Like,
Oh,
he was the baddie in the books that was like when we just encountered him, he was leaning against a tree in the forest at the World Cup while people
Right.
were being like possibly murdered and stuff, and he was laughing as he heard screams and stuff like that. Like, he's that soft guy, that soft, creepy, you're terrified of him kind of guy.
Yeah.
But like this one is like, where's the mayor? I don't know. Like it was just weird.
I will say this. I was thrown off by Scorpius because when I was like reading the play, and I mind you guys, I only read part of it because then I gave up on it, but I knew stuff that happened. That I read him as like a softer, shyer kind of kid.
Yeah.
More timid, and then I'm glad though that Draco wasn't, because like I've never seen him as like shy or timid or like, and that's how I read him in the play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't like it at all. I'm like, this doesn't seem like the Draco that we grew up with in books. And yes, he's changed and he's gone through a lot.
Right.
So I am glad that he's a little bit gruffer.
Yeah, but you can be gruff without being, you know, Batman. The thing is, did I lose my train of thought? No. Okay, so when Scorpius was doing like his like scream talk stuff, literally thought it was gonna be like a joke, like that, like his voice was changing or something, like he was going through puberty,
Yeah.
and then it never stopped because he gets really high, and then he gets really
That's how
like
he was
down.
played in London.
And
So
that's-
he kind of had like a squeaky voice, but he was pretty timid and also kind of like frantic-y.
And
with how
I
he
like
talked.
that. I like
It
that
was
because
great.
that's the feel I get. But he was just like, sometimes I was just like,
Shrieky.
dude.
Do we want to go back to telling them the rest of the story? I don't know what we
Yeah,
left
but I
off
need
on.
to blow my nose.
Pause.
Yeah, going back to synopsis again. Like, where did I leave off? So it's like really quick to fourth year, and then
This is like page 2.
right. So then, all of a sudden, there's like a conversation. Amos Diggory stops by and talks to Harry about how he wants. Oh, back up. They found a time turner.
Theodore Knott.
All the
Theodore
time
Knott.
turners have been destroyed, but there's this
But-
illegal one that has been recovered from Theodore Knott.
Can you help me? Who the H is that?
Oh, he was
He's
a
a Death
student.
Eater.
Is he the student that was friends with? I don't know if they were friends, but he was in their year. But I don't. His dad's also named Theodore Knott, I believe.
And
And
he was
Draco,
a Death
and
Eater.
yeah, he was a Slytherin. Yeah, and his father was.
What book is he mentioned in?
Probably 7.
I think that Theodore Knott was in one of the
Is he a Sacred
1 through
28?
6, 1 through 5. I
don't-
don't know.
I'm gonna look because it's bothering me. Continue
talking. So they discover this time turner that Theodore Knott has in his home, and it's like an amped up time turner. So here's my thing
He
with
souped
this.
it up like Arthur.
Yeah, here's my thing. People have a huge thing against this whole time turner thing.
It's different
And
once you
here's-
see it,
I agree. Yeah, definitely. Because when you're
Whoa.
reading it, you're like,
and when you actually see it, whoa.
Yeah.
isn't the time turner cool?
That's my favorite.
First of
It
all,
blows my
it's like
mind.
hovering between their hands. I don't know if you noticed that, but like the time turner thing spins and is like hovering between their forehands. But anyway, that's
With four
amazing.
hands?
Well, yeah,
Well,
because
there's four
Scorpius and
hands.
Albus.
Oh,
Yeah.
4 hands.
I
I
was
thought you
like-
said FORE.
No. So I am so for this time turner. And here's why. Because if you think about it, like think about technology in our times, you know? I
Harry
mean,
even says it.
yeah, it's, you know, I mean, if you go back to whenever I had my first cell phone, it wasn't even a flip phone. It was just like a dial tone you know, whatever. But like now I have this mini computer in my pocket that's an iPhone.
Well,
it makes sense that it would progress.
Hermione's like, this looks nothing like the one that she had, and Harry does go, he's like, essentially, times change. But
Right.
like,
He's like,
Yeah.
whoa, magic really has changed since we were messing
yeah,
with this.
and
you
it
know?
was 20 years
We're
ago when
always
they were
gonna
doing it.
discover new things.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Not is part of the Sacred 28.
Yeah.
Nice.
Weedy-looking Theodore Nott was a contemporary of Harry's at Hogwarts, whose father was one of the Death Eaters summoned upon the Dark Lord's return in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
The elder Nott was one of the very early Death Eaters. Cantankerous Nott is widely believed to have authored the Sacred 28. So that's like the original.
Oh.
They say that it might have been, like, one of Grindelwald's followers someone put on our group.
I'll die.
They're like, what if, like, Grindelwald wrote that with, like, some of his followers to
That
like,
would be
promote.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Grindelwald's not on there.
Well, he's not from England.
Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Nope.
Do it.
But, yeah, Theodore Nott. He's in fanfiction I've read.
Get that out of here.
Yeah.
Your spit's
So
covered
anyway,
in-
I agree with the time turner thing. I think it makes sense. I mean, technology changes in our days. Magic will change. They'll discover new things all the time. We discover new things all the time. It totally makes sense that there would be an upgraded version of the time turner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay
I mean,
with
just
it.
they're like, oh, they were all destroyed. Yeah, you can't tell me that if they made them once, they can't make them again
Yeah.
and then make it better.
So was not summoned back in 5 when they were all destroyed and maybe picked one up then
Maybe.
during the battle at the Ministry.
Could be.
Yeah, it's possible.
Is that covered in the play or no?
No.
Well, that's my headcanon.
Okay.
I just, you know, I think that argument is a little bit weak when people.
Do they say if it was, like, senior or junior Nott?
Mm-mm.
I'm just curious.
Seniors probably did.
It's probably junior, I would think.
Yeah.
Because he would be Harry's age. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, where are we at in our story?
Amos
So
part
they,
one.
so
For
they
part one.
have the time turner. The Ministry keeps it for
Well, Hermione
research
specifically.
purposes. Yeah, Hermione keeps it in her office because she's Minister for Magic. How cool is that?
Can I just say that she hides it not well?
Correct.
I agree.
Like,
I think
No-
that she's banking on the fact that nobody's going to even know about it.
no adult in any Harry Potter movie hides anything well.
Correct.
No, I agree. And you'd think
Not even
Hermione would know
Voldemort.
this.
You would.
Because she got through everything for the Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's Stone. And
At 12 years old.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these kids are 14 and they got through hers.
You really shouldn't, like, put things in riddles. Like,
No.
Just lock it.
Yeah.
And not with a low
And why was her office
Yes!
just locked with Alohomora? She's the Minister for Magic, and you can open it with Alohomora.
Like, I know there's
she's-
other locking spells. Like
She's
Wisteria.
Hermione Granger.
They show that in Fantastic Beasts. Percival Graves locks his office with a different spell than Alohomora.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You should do, like, a million spells. Invent your own locking spell.
She's smart enough to do it.
Definitely.
It's bananas. It's
So
strawberries.
Amos wants to get the time turner back to save Cedric because
He's the spare, and he didn't deserve to die.
it was only because of
Let's-
Harry.
Let's talk
Hold on.
about
Can
this.
we wait till we finish the summary and then talk about it?
No,
Why? This is
because it's coming up as I can't. I'm not gonna.
I
remember.
don't like him
No.
at all.
And I
don't
never
like
really
him.
liked him.
Correct. This cements my I probably don't like him more than Voldemort.
He.
I dislike
Harry-
a lot of characters more than Voldemort, honestly.
True.
He said all of these things to
Voldemort's like,
Harry
yeah, I'm bad.
that Harry himself believes.
can't
He thinks
help.
the worst of himself, and then Amos is like, "Yeah,
Harry
this is
has
you."
PTSD.
Harry.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Harry
But
definitely has PTSD.
Harry
like-
couldn't have helped what happened in the graveyard.
No, but Amos uses that against him.
Mhm.
Harry also can't help what happened at the Battle of Hogwarts.
No.
So blood on his hands is not blood on Harry's hands.
He didn't force those people to volunteer.
Those
Well,
people stayed.
But
Yeah.
and no matter what, he is going to for the rest of his life have those on his
Agreed.
back.
Yeah.
And I think like the things that Amos was saying to Harry were just horrendous.
They were low.
Because yes, he was your son. He was your everything. But that was like the first real death that Harry
That's
saw.
on Voldemort's hands, not Harry's hands.
But
Well,
Harry
Lord
himself
killed him.
even's like, no, I think, like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't see it that way. He
Harry
sees it
believes
exactly
it's
like
his fault.
Amos,
Because
yes.
he's like, hey, let's grab
And-
this cup.
And that's exactly, like, he himself was beating himself up. We see, like, the entire summer long, like, he
Yeah.
just was, any
Nightmares.
thought of
His
Cedric.
nightmares about it, yeah.
So I felt so bad for him in that moment when, like, Amos was being a real not nice human. Words I can't say on the podcast.
And then this is what Albus overhears.
Yeah.
Of all things, this is what he overhears,
Yeah.
and he sides with Amos.
Yeah.
It makes me mad.
He's a
Stupid
14-year-old.
Can we
you
just
know?
talk about, and this is what I was thinking when they were talking about going back in time. Has no one ever watched Back to the Future, Marty McFly? There's consequences.
Well, when you're
Same.
14, you
Here's
don't
the
think about
thing.
it.
Here's the thing. Albus
Yeah.
and Scorpius never grew up with, like, even real knowledge of time turners, you know? Like, they're just a thing in books because they were, quote, all destroyed.
Yeah, but Back to the Future was a thing.
Okay, no.
I'm just saying, they could have watched it, popped in a DVR, VCR, whatever they had over there.
I think that they
Pop in a
didn't. They
DVR.
clearly didn't. They clearly didn't understand the consequences of what they were doing. They were thinking,
No.
"We'll go back in time, we'll stop it, and everything will stay the same except Cedric will be alive." When
And-
clearly, that's not how it rolls.
Like stepping on a butterfly.
I think Albus, that was his way of, like, stepping up his father. Proving something to him.
Like, I can fix something my father messed up.
Right.
Yeah.
Real swift kick in the pants
Well,
to Harry.
And you see later on, too, when they're like, you need to talk to your son. You need to tell him. Because, like, had he sat down and been like, told him
This
how he
is
felt
what
and being like,
happened.
this is what
The
happened.
real
and
him, the real
Yes.
how he feels.
But it's hard to talk about your feelings. And you see with Harry, like, it's hard for him because he's always
I feel like
been
Harry doesn't do that
alone.
well.
Correct. Like, growing up in his formative years, he really didn't have anyone that he could talk to and that he could trust. So it's hard for him because you even see when he's talking to no, it's not Lily. What's his
Ginny?
wife name? Yep, Ginny. After he has
He
the
holds
nightmare.
back from Ginny.
Yes. So, like, that's your spouse and you're supposed to be able to trust them. And I get it. It's hard to talk about your feelings and all of that stuff. But he really just needs to, like, for both of them. And I'm assuming, because I don't remember all the details now, that they'll have that conversation. Because it's hard, you know? And he needs to hear that from his dad.
Like, I like Ginny and Harry, don't get me wrong or anything, but I feel like Harry's more truthful with Hermione and Ron than he is with Ginny because he goes into
I
protecting
think he
Ginny.
he protects Ginny.
I agree with that.
But
Yeah.
there's, like, protecting, and then there's, like, withholding information.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but in his mind's eye, he's thinking that
Well,
I'm doing
and
this.
then he's
in-
doing. And then you could make
Good
that same
intentions.
argument for keeping Scorpius and Albus away from each other.
Yeah.
Same exact argument.
Yeah.
I love that moment with Draco and Harry when they're sitting at the table and, like, Draco was saying all that stuff. It's like, oof. Oof. In the fields, man.
So,
In the fields.
are we done with this? Can we go into stuff?
We didn't finish the summary. It ended with
Wait,
Amos.
'cause I'm
Okay,
thinking of
summary.
things.
So he
You
sees
guys are
Amos, he believes Amos, and then Albus gets this idea in his head that he's gonna go back in time and he's gonna save Cedric. So he comes up with this plan, he goes back onto the train and talks Scorpius into jumping off the
Wait.
train.
They meet Delphi,
Oh yeah, they meet Delphi.
She's important,
Delphi
unfortunately.
Diggory.
Who's she?
who's the caretaker of Amos. That's her uncle.
Is it?
I
Well,
can't
that's
rem-
what we're told right now.
I can't remember like how this all plays.
I totally forgot that she was in it. Or not totally forgot that she was in it, but totally forgot when she came into it.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching and going, is that it? I literally
Yes.
thought it was the ghost of Tonks.
She
Oh,
looks,
I
yeah.
looked up
Songs.
songs.
And then I was like, oh, right, you're that person.
So then they jump off of the train, then they go and they steal the time turner from Hermione's office. They use Polyjuice Potion
Oh
Which
my
is so
to get it,
cool.
which is a really funny scene, which
Can
we
we-
can talk about in a minute, but let me finish this really quick.
Okay.
And then they go back in time and they change the first task, but when they come back, Hermione and Ron are no longer together, so Rose doesn't exist.
Albus
And
is in Gryffindor.
Albus
Yeah.
is in Gryffindor, and then Harry makes them stay apart from each other, Albus and Scorpius. And then they come back together and then go back in time one more time again, but whenever Scorpius comes back, Albus is not with him, and Umbridge is the headmaster, and it's Voldemort Day
Happy Voldemort Day.
And that's the end. of that part.
Then it says, to be continued.
Yes.
So, since we're talking about the end a little bit, let me just say, if you guys don't know, I love Ron. My favorite. Love him. When they see each other, like, Ron and Hermione, oh my god, it was so cute, because he was like, I like what you do with your hair. Like, did you do something different? She's like, I combed it.
I like how she's not harsh whenever he's there.
Yeah. And
Because
She's nasty mean, dude.
Yeah.
she's sad that the love of her life is married to someone else.
Doesn't mean
Had
she's not
my
nasty.
patil.
Ugh. And like he's so not himself. Like you see him when he's walking off, he's all slouched and everything, and he's not
miserable.
He
Yeah.
looks like
Not
one
happy.
of the evolution guys that's in the middle.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
I like that they just have a cute moment. Like I like them together, and I know not everyone does, but I just think truly
no, they're
they're
meant
like
to be.
like, and I got such strong vibes of just friends with like Harry and Hermione when they're in
Wait
the
until you
office.
see them in the next part.
I really liked how that moment that they share. It's just like, to them, it's almost like, well, if in another universe, and it's like, but truthfully,
Yeah.
like,
In another universe, you could be.
in another
You
time
are.
There's
parallel.
like tons of universes going on right now.
Yeah.
I like
Have you never
that
heard the
idea.
Bernstein Bears thing? Some think it's EIN or whatever, and some people think it's with an I at the end, or A or
those
E.
things?
Mm-hmm. Also, I swear to God, there's a movie that has Shaq in it, and he's a wizard or a genie, and they claim it's not true. But I swear to God, I've seen it.
Isn't it called like Shazam?
Yes, I swear to God, it's like
was
something.
gay.
I've seen that.
The one with Shaq or whatever. Or I think
Apparently
it's
it
Shaq.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's
Apparently
not
it
a
doesn't
thing.
exist. It's not a movie.
I remember that.
That was in the 90s, man.
I'm telling you.
What?
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's a
I know.
conspiracy.
Now I'm scared.
It's
So-
I really like I know that this whole time traveling thing, people hate it. Like this is one of their huge hang-ups with Cursed Child. But I have to say, I've been saying this to you guys for months since Katie and I saw it, but like it just makes more sense visually.
Let me ask a question.
Okay.
So, y'all, Megan and Katie have seen the whole thing in London. Now they've seen part 1 in NYC. Tell us which you like better, like vice versa. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there's parts in both. So for me, I liked Harry better in New York because this is Jamie Parker. This is the original Harry. He just does such a good job. You can tell that he's really
The other Harry
Yeah.
was a little too rough.
Yeah, he came across a little bit meaner at times in London. But Scorpius, which I'm actually really disappointed about. People raved about Anthony Boyle. And I think
And
he's
he's
just a little
fine.
bit too rough for me with Scorpius. He's a little too yelly. The Scorpius in London, and I wish I could remember who played it, but I can't, I'm sorry. But he was just more timid. He was a little more like mousy.
He was more
I guess is a good
awkward.
word. Yeah, more awkward.
He would be like, his voice would be like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, great.
Like, he was
But,
so
2
awkward.
points.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be like that. Like, something I could relate to. This
Yeah.
one, not so much.
I feel like in the second part of it, he was a little bit more awkward
was-
and like
was a
less
little
yelly.
bit.
Yeah, he was better
Yeah.
in Act 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, I don't know. They're really similar.
Yeah.
It's just like little isms with the actors and actresses that I like better in different things. But I mean,
Like, I said this
They're
to the
both
girls
amazing.
while we were in there, but there's this tender moment between Albus and Scorpius where they're on the train for another year, and Scorpius has to tell Albus that his mother died.
Are you gonna cry?
No.
You sound like you are.
No, I'm just nasally, that's all. And it's a really tender moment because Albus is like, why didn't you write? And Scorpius is like, I didn't know what to say. And Albus is like, what can I do? And Scorpius is like, just come to the funeral.
it
In
just
London,
was like
it was-
happened so quick here.
It was like lines like this.
yeah.
in-
Whereas
in the
London,
London
there were
one,
right pauses.
So
there was
soft.
Yeah, that's
There's a little
why I
more
said like
tender.
everything felt so rushed.
Yeah. That's the biggest difference. This one feels more rushed than the one that we saw in October.
well, you know those people in New York.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
I mean, overall though, it's still amazing. I still really enjoy it. It's just different people are gonna portray characters just a little bit differently because
Yeah.
everyone's different.
Okay. Tiffany, my question to you. Did you like it better or worse than you originally thought?
Oh, I like it a lot. I thought I was gonna be like, oh yeah, this is good. But I really like it a lot. And it really got me so pumped up for tomorrow. That way that ended.
Right?
'Cause you're like-
Cliffhanger.
What does a world look like
Without Harry.
without Harry and with a Voldemort?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, he's basically a god there.
And
you
some
know?
people call the whole Voldemort Day thing and, like, this whole section that's coming up super gimmicky. But, like, it really is just, like, an alternate reality. Like, this
Yeah.
could have been a real thing.
Yeah.
Oh, he would have. Yeah, everything would have been all about him.
It's very reminiscent of Hitler.
Oh yeah, with the banners.
Super
and such.
reminiscent.
Yeah,
So I have to say that I liked it better than I was expecting.
I'm surprised.
And as we were walking back to the hotel, I was like, what are people going to think? Because we've talked about Cursed Child from Jump, right?
Oh,
But,
we're
like,
talking so
not
much
at all.
crap.
But we're all like, ugh. And now I'm like, everyone's going to have to listen.
Well,
I'm like, we
this
kind of
is
really
part-
like it
This is
now.
part one, though.
Yeah.
So
But I gotta say, it just gets better.
most of,
In my opinion, it just
Yeah,
gets
I
better.
agree.
most of my issues happen with
Delphi.
yes.
Yeah, Delphi seems random when you read it a little bit, but here's the thing, and like, we could talk more about this tomorrow, but like, really quick, when you are somebody like Voldemort, I mean, not that there are many out there, but, you know, keeping a bloodline alive is very important to people, and that would be the only reason I could ever see him doing anything with Bellatrix. It wouldn't have been for love. It wouldn't have been a sensual moment. It would have been for a purpose of keeping the bloodline alive, and it would have been just another thing for Bellatrix to do to follow orders.
Oh, I think it was an act of love for her.
Maybe for
But
her,
I think-
but not for him.
I don't think that either one of them are the type of people that would, like, make love. You know what I mean? Like, it
Agreed.
wouldn't be like...
Maybe it wasn't really. I mean, who knows how it happened? Who knows what they did?
I'm picturing
Not.
Some magic.
Handmaid's Tale.
I am also picturing something similar to Handmaid's
I
Tale,
don't know
which
what
is
that means. Don't tell me.
It's just
It's not
kind of
good. It's not good.
you're doing it for a purpose, and that's it. That's all there is. You need to procreate, and that's what happens.
Gross.
It's
Maybe on
not
his end.
pleasant,
I don't know.
but I think that
Either way,
We'll
they...
Voldemort's
talk about it
main
off the podcast.
Voldemort's main thing was immortality.
Mm-hmm.
So if he,
Were to die.
by any chance, could die, he had to keep himself alive somehow. And why
Keep
not?
his bloodline alive.
Right.
Yeah.
Why not do that with an heir?
And he's successful enough to the point where Harry's scar hurts again.
Yeah.
For the first time in what, 22
Because
years?
Delphi is a
Yeah.
real
Hurt.
but Delphi is a real threat. She is a real threat. She wants to change time.
Yeah.
So,
And she succeeds.
and this is exactly probably what Voldemort intended, right? Like, oh, well, maybe if I have an heir and they get curious enough about me, they'll try and figure out a way to bring me back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but this is probably a long conversation for tomorrow after we see the
There's,
person.
wait.
Yeah.
there's so much to say.
What was your favorite special effect?
Oh god, the
Or, like,
special
magic
effects are so
effect.
good. They're so good. Going back
Time.
in time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
That's the one I
God.
wanted to say so bad, you guys, and you both
Felt
reacted
it in your
exactly.
chest.
It
Okay.
rumbles.
Well,
I
like,
know
because you
how
don't-
they do it.
Here, hold on, before you even say it, like
No, Reckitt's
there's a bunch of
magic.
That's
like,
cool.
there's a bunch of clocks on the wall, so I thought that was just gonna be it, and I was amazed by that. And then it did this like reverberating thing, and Tiffany and I were like, "What? It's
it literally
happening!"
shakes the theater.
It's so
And they do like a
But
bass,
freaking
like
cool.
But
and, like, make
also the
everything
phone
shake.
booth to get into the ministry.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Oh, yes.
I liked the fights like between Draco
It was too
and
slow.
like when people were like, "Oh,
What
I
about the-
know it was stage fighting. I know it had to be slow. It was just so slow.
What about the portraits? I think
I
that's
Yeah.
love the
Those were cool.
portraits.
Saw my main man.
Yeah, Dumbly.
Dumbly.
Saw my main man Dumbly.
oh, do we want to talk my worst part for me? My main man? Yeah, no,
Hagrid was pretty
he was
disappointing.
awful.
I think that
It was like
so
such
Hagrid
a
was
fake belly.
Hagrid was better in
He
London.
didn't. He didn't
was.
look
It's
bad.
like a bad mall Santa.
I needed him to
It was
stop
his
talking.
accent.
It was
he did a really bad Hagrid accent
His
because
hair
it kept
just looked weird,
flipping
too.
between like American and
Yeah.
Scottish. But he would like say the words how Hagrid would say them, but with an American accent, and it was very awkward.
He didn't do too great.
Sarah, you should have went like, let me come try this.
I wouldn't have been able to do a better job, but
Yeah, that was kind of disappointing, but the most disappointing thing for me was the Sorting Hat.
Yeah, the Sorting Hat's not my favorite,
So
but
the
I
Sorting
will
Hat
say that
is not
this.
an actual Sorting Hat; it's a bowler hat.
Here's the thing, though. The Sorting Hat guy is the same guy who played Hagrid, and I think that part of it is his portrayal, because it worked much better in London. I don't know if it was
Why
just
not
like...
use the hat?
I don't know.
I have no problem with somebody standing, holding the hat, and speaking for the hat.
Agreed.
But why not use the hat?
I think it was just like a persona.
No.
I also don't understand why they changed the colors. Like, that bothers me.
Colors of what?
Because you go, oh, look, they're wearing silver. And I was like, no, they're not. Their colors are blue and light blue. Darker blue and a light blue is Ravenclaw's colors. And, who are you? Hufflepuff is yellow and brown.
Why did they change the colors?
I think because it's like in the future, so maybe
It
school
doesn't
would
matter.
update. I
No,
don't
they're not
know.
going to update. It's Hogwarts.
I'm gonna
It's
say
Hogwarts.
though,
Okay.
I kind of like the yellow, dark yellow, better than yellow and black.
Here's the thing, though.
Shut up, Katie. Hey, it's my house. Do what
I will
want.
say that I do like
No.
the double blue versus the blue and silver.
Oh, Lord.
But I'm just saying, that's not official. Like, the official colors are
My
blue
house
and bronze.
colors didn't change.
Well, of course,
it
you guys
makes
are the two
sense.
important houses. Nobody gives a crap about
That's true.
us Ravenclaws.
That's
We're the most
also-
underrepresented.
I think it makes sense that they were updated a little bit, because look
No,
at the
Megan.
costume. Look at the...
No.
Not costumes.
Fantastic Beasts.
Look at
robes
the
are
Fantastic
different.
Beast robes.
Yeah, what colors are mine? Blue and silver. You want to know why? Because the movies have it wrong.
I don't like it. I don't like change.
I'm just saying, I didn't. Minor detail. It's not that important,
It
but I
is.
do enjoy the double blue versus the blue and silver.
I thought those were Bobaton's friends. But apparently they were Ravenclaws.
They had a Ravenclaw sign.
Yeah, well, the one chick looked like she was from... Like, she had the
I
outfit.
can't tell if you're
Ooh.
making a joke or if you're just French.
Can we talk about how? Let me tell you, we were in the second last row, but we had wonderful seats because they were right in the middle.
Oh, they were,
Dead center.
they were great.
but from
$40.
hold on.
$40. Greatest value
From
ever.
all the way back of the theater, Scorpius and Albus are freaking jacked. I could see those arm muscles when they took their shirts off to jump in the thing.
I couldn't.
Oh, really?
I
That's
could
not
definitely
Scorpius.
see it on Albus.
Oh, man.
No, they both were like, I'm like, y'all also
It's a
have
taxing
some muscles.
job that they have.
Can I tell you guys how they do the time thing?
Sure.
It's really cool.
Go ahead.
They do it at Disney and at Universal on the castles. It's a projection.
It's light.
And it's lights. They project it on there and they make it look like it's moving. It's just like a video that they're playing over the set
That's
to
really
make it
cool.
like
It's so
reverberate.
cool.
It's really cool.
Because they do that with Cinderella's castle, how they like change it with the lights.
Sarah and I lost our minds.
It's
Oh,
so
literally,
cool.
it's my favorite thing because
Yeah.
you feel it and you see it,
And I
you,
get so
literally
excited when it's
experience
coming.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can hear what was just played go backwards.
You can hear some of the conversation.
I remember what I want to talk about. What the heck with the top of the train and the trolley lady's fingers?
I'm still not into that scene.
No,
that scene
that's
is
probably
dumb.
the only thing.
That's
I'm
the
still
only thing
really
I can't
against.
get on board with.
It was horrible.
Oh, I thought it was cool.
No.
I liked
Is-
visually how they did it, but like her
She would
having like
never do
long
that.
fingers, weird.
No, but she's designed not to get you off the, like, you aren't allowed to leave the train. I
Well,
love
she
that.
sucks at her job.
In 190 some years, they're the first ones that got off.
I love the
care.
little
She had-
nugget of information.
Yes.
Yep. Whoa.
I
that's
just got
loud.
really excited. Also, you find out that they haven't had a Triwizard tournament since Harry's.
Harry's here.
We just talked about that.
Yeah. One, two. How she said that Sirius and his gang, is that what she says?
Yeah.
tried to get
Cronies,
on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I like how she specifically
Fred
says
George.
Sirius, not
course.
James.
Reddit.
Not like, well, I feel like James would have been right.
I feel like
along
it would have
next
been
to him, you know?
Sirius and James, and that's
sure.
probably it. And
Uh,
Remus would
oh.
have been in the compartment, hiding his face in shame that
Really?
those are his friends.
And then I like the Fred. You hear Fred and George. Of course, they tried to get off the like. Where would you go?
Why would her fingers do that? For what purpose?
to scare them.
No.
Into
Can we
not
talk about
jumping.
scary? It's the
Explosive
Wizarding World.
pumpkin pasties.
That was
Mm.
cool. How the candies and stuff turned into like weapons.
Yeah, I liked that.
She's like, wait, you get a load of my chocolate frog.
I thought she was gonna blow away. I did not like that at all.
Oh, I didn't mind it.
I liked how they're up there, and then she's like, anything off the trolleys.
I know.
that
Like,
was
there's
funny.
nothing different.
You're right.
That was funny.
Yeah.
And then it got weird.
It just got a little
Did you not
scary.
remember that?
No.
Oh,
I
Sarah
specifically
reading it.
remembered the
Yeah.
the
Probably
hands.
blocked it out of my
terrifying.
memory.
I really liked the special effect whenever Scorpius ate the pepper imp
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
his ears.
I actually
smoked.
saw how that happened in,
In London,
but
I
I
saw
didn't
it
see it
too.
here.
It's just like a little thing that comes out of his back.
I like them flying through the fireplace to McGonagall.
Oh my god, I
Yes.
freaking love
Them
that.
swimming was cool too, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Them
Yeah.
swimming for the Triwizard Tournament.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I liked seeing Umbridge again. Shout out to my girl.
Oh my gosh.
What's up, Umbridge?
She hemmed and it was great.
You nasty.
Before I forget, I love, because I read the book, once, and then
I've only
didn't
read
touch
it
it
once.
again, saw it in London, and now I'm seeing it here. So I love getting reminded that we see a lot of Harry's, like, we see he has nightmares.
Yeah.
And we see how his childhood affects him. Like, we constantly
that
say,
scene.
whoa, Harry really, like,
When
he
Harry
shouldn't have
wet
turned
the
out so
bed.
well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How sad was that?
And we
Yeah.
talk all
It's
the
guaranteed
time.
that actually happened.
It just solidifies the fact that I hate Petunia.
Can
Yeah,
we?
I don't have sympathy for
Like,
her.
she and Umbridge are pretty much on par for me.
I hate her.
She has no redemption story for me.
Can
No.
we talk about how
Not
the
unless Joe
fact,
writes it.
Tiffany? This is important because you agree with me.
Probably not. Let's
No,
see.
1,000%.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Harry is a seer.
Dude, yes, I thought
1,000%.
that again today, and I was like, Tiffany.
Okay, guys, I think he might be.
Whoa! Tiffany just freaked out.
Say it into the microphone.
But like he
I
even
think Harry might be a
says,
seer.
he says in McGonagall's
At least
office
partially.
when Drake goes there, he's like, "You've never believed in my dreams. You've never like believed what I like." You know what I mean?
And
She's like,
there
"You're
ain't no
freaking
Voldy
seer."
soul in him right now.
Yeah?
That's why I'm like,
He's a
yeah,
seer.
maybe.
So if we're saying this is canon, and it is,
Harry
he's a
even
seer.
said, I told you I saw them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw them in the forest.
He saw Albus in red robes.
In Durmstrang
In
robes.
Durmstrang robes.
he knew it was Durmstrang robes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Queasy.
come here.
He's an idiot though because he's like
I'm like, is you sick?
when Elvis wakes up, he's like, "Your arm was broken," but it's weird because she said it's been broken for 26 years. Duh, your son's using a time turner. You idiot.
I think he was questioning it there. He was curious.
But like, so Hermione has such lax security that she didn't notice like that.
Well,
Something
she
got
learned from
broken?
the best. These people setting
You
up
mean the worst?
stinking riddles. What are the riddles for these children to solve?
But like,
Just like it.
you know, there's people that put like a hair on something, and so like if someone comes in and moves it, they're like, "Oh, someone was in here because the hair was moved." So weird, crazy things like
There's
that.
papers all over her office.
Yeah, like what? What?
Yeah,
The Polyjuice potion was really cool.
that was cool.
I love how they use lighting on the stage in order to make some of it totally black so you can't
Yes.
see what's going on.
Yeah.
That's how
So
they do the
cool.
portraits. It's
Yeah.
so
It's
cool.
amazing.
Well, I'm like, I said to them, there's parts of it where people are like dancing, and I'm not into it. I don't
didn't
need
mind
that.
the set changes.
And then
stuff.
the set changes are fine. I
You
get
didn't
why
like
you're
the class that they did where they
like
were
the
like
class, and then
with the
they're
wands.
dancing around with the suitcases. I don't need that in my life.
Can we bring up centaurs, please?
You like really, oh my god!
Because his body
But I read
looked
it.
ridiculously long.
I think he's probably on stilts or like high shoes.
I
Or
No,
lifts.
just the way that they did the lights, it just looked like a very long horse body.
I think that
it's
it's
two.
two
Oh yeah, it's for sure two people.
and I don't think that there's actually anything connecting them. It's
I don't
just
think
a
No,
there is.
it's
mix.
not. Yeah,
And then they swish their tail. Someone
Yeah.
in the back is swishing their tail.
it swishes a lot.
I
He's
thought it
angry,
looked really
it's
good.
Bane.
Very mad.
I thought it looked good.
Well, you're an angry horse.
I will say I didn't like. Okay, two things in this scene. So Harry goes and does this nice gesture to give Albus this blanket, and I wanted to smack Albus across the face because
Correct.
he like
Yeah.
It
spit
was
on
so
him.
sad.
And then he
Because it's like
destroys it.
it's the only
he like
thing
spills the
that
love potion on it.
It's the only thing that he's like, this is really the only thing I have for my mom. Like that's such a huge thing. Like yes, I know he gave James the
Well, he had
invisibility
to.
cloak, and he gives Lily whatever. But like honestly, I like that gift is so much more special than anything else. You know what I mean? That's the only thing
I
connecting
mean,
us
it's
to
not
his
a
mom.
Deathly Hallows, so.
Oh my god. It's just so freaking
You
like,
should have
and
saved
then
the Elder Wand and given that to Albus.
That's
And then-
brown.
like so the bed obviously is like in the middle of the stage, and so
Sarah.
this so bothers me that you would think that the bed would be up against a wall, but not the way they were standing because they were standing behind it. Just bothered me.
I can't stand it.
They could because they didn't have a wall. They could stand wherever they want. How dare you stand where he stood?
Where do you want me to stand? He's literally been in this whole school.
I love that so much.
So good. What else?
I indulged in some merch today.
Yes.
Because that didn't exist. Or I didn't see it in London, I don't
Same
think. Or I
as-
didn't
I don't
think
think
to
that
get
they
it.
had it.
I don't know.
Katie and I
Maybe
are
I thought
twinning.
they just had
Yeah.
a T-shirt of it.
Maybe.
I definitely saw a T-shirt, but I didn't think they had a hoodie. But it's like a really cool new Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry hoodie,
I like
Yeah.
it.
and
Yeah.
it's Gryffindor colors.
Yeah, it is.
I'm part Gryffindor.
Sucks to suck, guys.
I'm getting a Voldemort
Again.
Day shirt tomorrow.
I like the Ravenclaw's color. Like I would buy that kind of merch versus that
You gonna get
silver
anything?
crap. No, I don't need anything.
I also bought a
I don't need
magnet,
anything.
and they gave us pins. They gave
Yeah,
us
I
free
got
pins.
pins.
I got a program because I
Yes.
like that kind of
I
stuff.
don't need a
soundtrack.
program. The one they gave you.
No, no, no. the
No,
big
I
one.
like bought a
Yeah.
nice one. It has like photos from the play and
Oh, we didn't tell everybody. So we were super excited to see Noma
Oh, yeah.
play Hermione.
Oh yeah,
She
She's
didn't-
not doing it.
yeah.
for us at least.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
she still does it.
It's a
but-
different
And
Draco, isn't
Draco
it?
too
Yeah.
is the understudy.
Oh, maybe that's why we don't like it. I'm
Maybe.
just kidding.
Yeah, I didn't hate him.
But let's
just didn't
bring up
like his
the
voice.
fact that we were walking down the street.
Yeah,
Totally missed it.
and
and we saw
before the
before
play.
we were walking to get in line to get in, and I saw Anthony Boyle who plays Scorpius, and I don't know the guy's real name, but the guy who plays Ron, and they were just walking down the street together.
And they said a curse word in a nice British accent, and
it caught Tiffany's attention.
it did,
I did hear them talking, but I
and
was
it was
like
amazing.
walking ahead of them and not paying attention.
I thought about like asking for a picture, but then I was like, ugh.
And it was like
They
an
probably
hour
don't
until
want to.
showtime, and I'm like, shouldn't you be inside?
They do this so often.
I know. They're probably going to get a hot dog
Maybe.
from that guy.
They're almost
World's
done, aren't they?
best.
World's best.
They're
World
almost done,
famous?
yeah. I think only through like the middle of March,
Yeah.
and then the original cast is done.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
I really like Ron.
I love Ron when he's married to Hermione. And I think Harry does a great job. Jamie Parker is
Yeah.
very
Oh,
good.
Jamie
Yes.
Parker is
He
amazing.
had. I wonder, like, did you talk to Dan and
I
like
don't think he-
study him in the movies or anything like that? Because he is what I would imagine an older Dan Radcliffe acting as Harry Potter role.
He does a really great job.
I don't know if he is. He's done interviews and has, I think, talked about stuff like that. But I don't know if he's ever like.
And Albus sounds like Dan Radcliffe.
Albus is really
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I like when.
I think his name is Sam Clement.
Yes. I like when Scorpius takes a polyjuice potion, so then he's Jamie Parker playing
Oh my
Scorpius.
god,
It
he
is
did so good.
so
Yeah.
good.
But they're bowing to everybody in the ministry.
Yeah.
Hermione's
Oh my
like
God.
waving.
So good.
And
Oh
when,
my God.
And then Ron's kissing.
Yes.
Like you're kissing your aunt.
You only kissed your aunt like 500 times.
You're eating hair.
I liked seeing them together, and I will say that like for the first part of all of it, I like saw Scorpius and Albus more as like best friends because I still think that like Scorpius is like in love with Ron. But when they aren't friends anymore because Harry's like, I forbid you, and Albus is all sad and stuff.
That's when you see the chemistry
yes,
come out,
I
right?
was like, oh my god! I'm like, this is like a love song.
I will say the chemistry for like, because I ship Albus and Scorpius.
Yeah,
And
I had no
London
problem.
was right off the bat though. This
The
one I
whole
definitely
time
felt
I
friendship.
felt it in
Now
London.
something.
Did you really?
The
Yeah.
whole time I felt it.
I only felt it when they were doing that staircase bit.
It's so sad. I really just want to give Scorpius a hug. And then
But then
As I die.
sometimes their interactions, I'm like, no, they're friends. It's
Yeah,
so
I'm
like that in
I'm
off
telling you the whole
and on.
time. The whole time I felt it in London. And
I wouldn't mind shipping them, but when he talks about Rose, but I guess he could have feelings for
it was
both
kind
them.
of more like awkward in London when he talked about Rose. It was kind of like he was forcing himself to maybe like a girl. That's kind of like
Does
what
that
it felt
actor
like.
ship?
I know
Them?
this one
Anthony
does.
Boyle does. Anthony Boyle and Sam Clement love the idea of Scorpius and Albus being together.
Maybe they're secretly together.
Maybe they
I
are.
ship that.
I'd ship that.
They'd be hot.
Is this hair bleached or is that a wig?
I need it to be bleached.
I mean, it's
think
white.
It is
How
white.
can you not think that Malfoy's his dad? Like, he's got the Malfoy hair.
Magic.
Well, maybe they magic bleach it.
Every time they're like,
Magical
we're
suck.
wizards.
Magical
We're wizards.
bleach.
That scene in the library. Scorpius, you hit my heart.
Oh my god, that was. These are all the restricted section.
Oh, that was so good too. But
That
I
was
meant
Hermione's
that was-
office.
yeah.
sorry.
That was hilarious.
Oh.
No,
Oh, when he was
they were
in, like-
having their heart to heart.
Oh,
I will say,
Yeah.
like, that was Scorpius was me in Hermione's office when he's freaking out about the books.
And he like
falls to his
slides
knees.
on his knees. Yeah, it was amazing.
But like when he's having that heart to heart and he's like saying all these things to Albus, I was like, oh, that's really heartwarming, and I just want to give you a hug because your mom's dead and you're sad.
You know how you said that part he got too screechy for you? In the London one, he was so timid through the whole thing. When he yelled at that point, it was like, whoa, he has reached his breaking point. Like, it made more sense to me
Okay.
Yeah.
than in this
There's-
portrayal.
Like I really like him.
No, I
really
like him
do.
too. I've just seen
I'm
two
just
sides.
like, there's a lot of yelling. It's
Yeah.
a very loud play.
When
I love the music. I bought the soundtrack today.
when what's his face Draco like yells because he's like upset, like that's his only family left.
Oh, and then Ginny yells.
Because he's like, that's my son, and she like screams back at him like, my son's missing too, and I was like, ugh.
Where's the Joker?
My eyes started watering because I'm like, oh my god, that's so sad.
I almost
feel
started
for
crying
you.
at the very beginning because Tiffany goes, I'm gonna cry, and I was like, oh my god, I might
Well, it was
too.
really emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, you're back.
You
And then
guys
I'm
are
like,
gonna cry
ugh.
tomorrow? I can't wait.
I just don't know what I'm gonna cry about.
You'll see.
You'll see.
You'll know when the tears trickle
Oh.
down your cheeks.
Oh my gosh.
I guarantee you. You know me. I'm a crier.
Alright.
So. God, it was better than expected.
All right. Sames. And I'm excited for tomorrow.
And people are gonna hate listening to us talk
Sorry,
about how
you
great.
guys.
Like, you need to see it.
You have
just
to see
have to
it.
see
And you know, we were really
And I-
lucky that we got $40 tickets, and they're
Yes.
phenomenal seats.
Yeah.
Like, we couldn't have had
There's
better
not
seats.
a bad seat in the house. There can't be.
No, that's.
I was looking
it's,
around.
It's set up so well.
Mm.
Yeah.
The Dementors, man.
Oh yeah, the
How do they
Dementors were
move
awesome.
like that.
I don't know.
I think they're
really
people.
Creepy.
There are people.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, they're up on wires.
They're so creepy.
They're awesome.
People are creepy.
Yeah.
Sarah's creepy.
Yeah. Facts.
Tis all.
I think
think
for
so.
tonight, yeah.
All right.
We'll be back.
Yep.
To you guys in a couple seconds. To us.
Right.
Whole day.
Right. So we'll be back with our Harry Potter and the Cursed Child Part 2.
And part 3.
3.
Part 3. And on
taste
that
of
note,
words.
that concludes this part. Thank you for listening. Don't let the muggles ruin your day.
Happy Baltimore Day.
Hello and welcome to part 3 of our Cursed Child podcast. This is
He is a cursed child.
it. We have finished.
We
Cursed
saw it
child. Parts 1 and 2 and 3. Now playing internationally.
That's not a thing. So this is going to be our reaction episode to part 2 and probably a quick reflection on the show in its entirety.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. It's a play.
Do we want to do like a? We want to try and do the brief synopsis again of part 2?
Remember how that
It
went
worked
last
so
time?
well.
Before we start that, I just want to say that the beginning of this play started like, okay, so like the lights go down and
Okay.
like the music starts and it's about to start. Every single person was leaning forward. Did you guys notice
Yes.
that? Everyone was literally on the edge of their seats.
Yeah.
That to be continued, man.
Okay.
I know.
It was
Before
awesome.
This is the second before we get started.
No, I know. Before we really talk about it, I
Yeah.
want to know Tiffany, because Megan and Katie kind of talked about how they saw, because this is their second time seeing it. Not that I
You
don't
wanna
care
read
about
it?
your opinion, but I asked about it in the second part, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you guys did say that you liked this part 2 better than part 1,
In
correct?
general, yes.
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 Jamie Parker as Harry.
He's
Mm,
so
so
good.
good.
Amazing.
But Tiffany,
Sarah.
I want your review. How did you feel? What would you rate it? Thoughts, feelings, reactions? Who's your favorite host? Me is always the answer.
I'm gonna give
Sarah.
it.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna give it a
Sticking with
9.
a 9.
I'm sticking with a 9.
Ding.
And not for the entirety or the part.
Both.
I want to know part and then entirety.
Okay, so yesterday was what I said an 8.
You said
Yeah.
9. You said 9,
You
I
said
think.
9.
I should have said 8.
Oh.
In comparison now.
Overall, like you're
Part
looking.
We
What
can't
I-
go back and change it.
We don't have time turners.
That you know of. I can't go back in time?
No!
Don't we learn what happens
No.
when you do that?
You've seen Back to the Future. You've seen Cursed Child, parts 1, 2, and 3.
What is part 3?
This.
We don't know.
You're living it.
The aftermath.
Alright, fine. Then I'll give today a 9.
And half?
I don't
A
know.
9.
I kind of want to give it a 10.
A
I'm not
9
gonna
and 3/4.
lie.
No one's going to judge you.
I give part 2 a 10 then.
Okay, now what do you give your overall complete
A
score?
9.
Okay.
Just because of the sorting hat.
Oh my god, that's the only thing you're
It's
taking
her
away from
only
it.
hang up.
Then it should be a 9 and 3/4.
Oh.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Okay, 9 and 3.
Because that's the only thing.
I give it, well, yeah. Well, no. Because the screaminess of part 1 got me. The yelling.
Yeah.
So I'll do, 9.5.
Okay.
Lion King, 1.5. What else was your other question?
Just like first reaction, general review.
I loved it. It was full of emotion. It made my face bleed.
She's not exaggerating.
I-
Literal blood came out of her nose.
I loved it. I love the effects, the writings with the projections. I loved going in time again. I made my hands do this every time we did it.
You can't see what she's doing, but it's like reverberating.
I love that you also did it.
I did.
And they couldn't see that.
Yeah. It's like
They
that
can't
was
see
accurate.
that. It's a sound.
But they heard me.
Yeah.
What? I don't know. It was full of that raw emotion that I always that Harry has,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and raw emotion that Dumbledore has.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants to talk smack about my Dumbly can just pack their bag.
They can just go talk to Harry. He'll talk it with
And
them.
also, if you want to blame Harry for things that happened in the war, such as deaths and circumstances, you can also pack your bags, because my boy Potter has no blood on his hands, and my man Dumbly was a good man with good intentions, and that's that.
All right. So
We should also
Oh.
say that it's late and we're tired, so if I sound not okay.
are you trying to be like, if I sound really mean, this is why?
No, I'm maybe. No, I'm just really tired.
Wake up.
I'm super tired. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're little Miss Wolves.
So, what did I give yesterday? An 8?
I think
A
you
7.
gave it a
I think you said
7.
7.
I would say
We're gonna listen to this and the numbers are gonna be all different.
I have to say that I really liked it, a lot.
I
what's
really,
your rating?
I'm so happy that you said that. Because I was worried that you weren't going to, and
I honestly was super skeptical going in. I'm like, this is gonna be crap, essentially.
It was amazing.
So I would probably give this a 10.
Yeah, no, it's a 10.
You have to see it. You just
And Friends,
the
It's not-
the play
it's
does
truly-
not
it-
give it any justice.
it's not meant to be read.
Oh.
It truly is not. It's not meant to be read until after you have seen it performed. It's just not.
And, like, I
Like,
feel
and
bad preaching this because, like, everybody says it and people are like, oh, well, I can't see it.
I
And
know.
I get it, and that
Yeah.
sucks. And I really hope that there comes a way sometime in the future that this becomes more accessible to people
Yes.
because
Well-
it is truly meant to be seen.
And like
Whether that's a tour or a movie, I
we
don't
would
know.
not have been able to do this without you guys.
True.
Honestly, like
Yeah.
because
Yes.
all of this was because we have our Patreon and people are able to support us, so we can give them content. And without that, and granted, our tickets weren't crazy expensive. We were lucky that we got inexpensive tickets, and our seats were phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, we were second last row. I loved our seats.
I loved
those.
them.
My body didn't.
Oh well, tonight she literally got nosebleed in the nosebleeds, but like,
But, like, really,
it's-
the seats were great.
So we got
The view
lucky.
was great.
And because of this podcast, we were able to do it, and like Megan said, like I wish other people could, and I even said like how Puffs recorded like an
Off Broadway.
yeah,
Yeah.
like they should do that. One, because I just wanted to watch it again. It's so good, and it's so meant to be seen, and you forget all of the issues that I had. Like it all made sense watching it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't have any reservations. It was
Except
so good.
the Sorting Hat.
I mean, that's just a visual thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they could have visually made it the Sorting
Yeah.
Hat.
Yeah, they made it like a bowler hat, and it just seems like why change
Who
it,
was
you
this?
know?
Cornelius Fudge?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't wearing green, so
No.
Maybe it was destroyed in the Battle of Hogwarts, and we don't know about it.
no.
It didn't
I'm-
bother me too much.
Shut it, Katie.
Sorry. You're on
I
Tiffany
will
Island.
say this: as much as I try not to be an emotional person,
Oh my
I'm
God.
hands down, without a doubt, the one that cries the most on this podcast. Was already emotional today because we met listeners, and it was like crazy wonderful.
Yeah, shout out to you guys.
So the,
Christian,
them
we
out.
started crying beforehand.
Christian Garcia, and then Penelope and Vola. Like,
Yeah.
it
So-
made our day.
It
It really did
Yeah.
make our
Yeah,
day.
it was. You guys are awesome.
I mean,
We may
we
have
were-
left you and then cried together because we were
Correct.
so happy.
like, it was insane. We were at the Disney store in New York City
Yeah.
and
Just
met
being
someone.
tourists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, literally just the four of us being tourists together, and, like, somebody came up to us. I mean, that's just, it's mind-boggling.
it's awesome.
And really, like, we do all of this, as much as we like doing this, we also do a lot of this for you guys. So, and because of you guys, we're able to do this, if
Yeah.
that makes, like, any sense, like, a
Yeah.
whole circle, whatever.
The circle of podcasting.
So, I was already emotional, so I was crying before we even sat down.
Yeah.
And then, like, it started, and there's so much that happens, and I didn't read the play, and I'm glad that I didn't. And I only read some of it, and I knew a lot of the plot points, which that's the type of person I am. I like knowing things like that. But I also don't want to know every single little detail anyways. Like, I read a bunch of the plot points before I watched Crimes of Grindelwald, which I like knowing, but I didn't know every single detail. And one thing I will say is I'm so glad, and I think that everything happens for a reason, and I think that we're reading Goblet of Fire at the right time, because there's so much with that book and
Yes.
this play,
Yes.
and it's so perfect that, like, I just finished reading it a month ago, and then I started reading the 5th book, so I get Harry's emotions right after all of this happens, and this is so critical to this play, so it was perfect timing, and, like, so essentially I cried the entire, like, 2.5 hours.
It was rough.
It's essentially what I'm just trying to tell you guys. Sobbed.
It was rough.
Like,
I
tears
cried a
were
lot.
crying, like, pouring out of my eyes.
I had, like,
Um,
tears, like, down my neck, and I'm like, okay, this, like, needs to stop.
And Ron,
Okay, so, like, a lot of people talk about how,
Like-
like, they hate what they did with Ron.
no.
No, it
it's
was
like,
He's so
good.
good.
Pause.
He's so good.
I want to take the moment to say, when you listen to those earlier episodes, we are eating our words.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care that I'm eating my words. I take full responsibility for the things that I've said about Cursed Child in the
They
past.
called
Ooh.
it garbage.
Not correct. Not having seen it, I was 100% wrong
Yeah, I agree.
in my feelings, and I'm woman enough to admit that. And,
I agree.
I'm happy that I can grow.
I have to say, too, like, Joe didn't want to release this as a book. She came out and said that.
She shouldn't have.
I
No,
think she should have.
I don't think she
But
should have.
she
But
needs
she
to make it
felt-
available to everybody.
She felt pressured to do it because of the fact that it was inaccessible at first.
But now
because
I
it was
get-
just London.
But now
you know?
Yeah.
get it.
Well, and what's
I
nice
understand
though
why.
is that
Yeah.
they do these like they do the Friday 40 and they like
Yes.
they do try to make it in like more accessible to
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
But like that's the one thing about theater is that
It's not
for
it's not
years it's
accessible.
not accessible to a
Yeah.
lot of people. Which is unfortunate. I love plays. I love musicals.
But they're expensive to go to.
And especially
Yeah.
a 2-part
They
play.
are.
I mean, not just the ticket. It's also like, well, you probably have to travel
Staying
somewhere,
there,
and then the
food,
hotel.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Parking,
really
even
adds
if it's
up.
in your own city, you still
Yeah.
have to pay for parking. You're probably going to get dinner beforehand, or you're going to buy something at the theater. The drinks
Yeah.
are so expensive there. The food is so expensive. I mean, like,
Yeah.
a frozen lemonade was like $13, you know? I mean, like, it's an expensive day.
Yeah, a
no
bottle
matter
of
what.
water is $7.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and
It's worse than
unfortunate.
Disney World.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
It is.
it's so good.
So,
I just need it to be so it's like one of those things that when it was created and all that and it came and it split the fandom a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that by making it readily available to everyone, $20 to buy a DVD or, a digital copy so everybody can understand. Because
yeah.
it's not about pleasing the fans. I get that when you're an artist, you want to do your art for your art's sake. But when you have a fandom like this and you write this and it goes to those people,
in the wrong way.
you want them to be able to understand your vision. And, I know that she didn't have 100% control in everything, but she okayed it, which means that it's the 8th part.
Well, and you know what's so crazy? Because when I read, like, the stuff about it and, like, knew the plot lines, but she was like, this is the end of the story, at the end of that play, I'm like, it's the end.
It was the end.
Like, so much better than the
Harry's-
end of the 7th book. Like,
Harry's
not saying
story
that wasn't...
was done.
And
It
it's
wasn't
so
wrapped.
good.
It wasn't wrapped up in a nice little bow. There are rough edges,
Yes.
But, like,
but
not so
it's-
rough that I want, like...
No, I enjoyed
It
those
was-
rough
it was
edits.
real.
It's
It was a
life.
good ending.
Correct.
Yeah, like,
It was-
I...
It was very reminiscent of Toy Story 3. You know, you
I-
watch Toy Story 3 and you're like,
Yeah, well, now there's a
that's the
4th.
end. Well, yeah, but let's not talk about that. But
can I
like,
just talk? I've never watched Toy Story 3
Oh,
because
get
I
the
know that I would
tissues,
stop
dude, get
from
the tissue.
beginning
no, but
to
like
end.
it really reminds me of that. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
you have a series, you can tell where the story's going. It wraps it up. That one does kind of wrap it up in a nice little bow, but they decided to untie it for whatever reason. But like this one,
Let's look at this present. We opened a Slinky ride. Let me see what else we can do.
but like you know, this is it. It's just reminiscent of that. You know, they ended the
Yeah.
story on good terms. I can't really see where else Albus's story would go. I can't really see where else Harry's story would go from here.
I mean,
This is just the end of their story, and now they are just living. You know, like
It's so
Yeah.
good. It is so good.
it's so good. I mean, I gave it a 10. Who
Yeah.
would have thought going into this
Sarah
trip?
gave
I
it a
thought you were
10.
going to give it a 4.
I might cry again. It's so good.
Why are you crying? Is it because it's over?
I think partially.
I mean, here's
It's a big emotional trip.
my
you know?
my feeling going into this is like, it came out, I read it, whatever. We talked about it. We've talked about it. We've talked about it.
I will say that we
And
always
we-
said we were going to do like a big episode where we broke it down.
Yeah.
And this really isn't it.
No, this is not
Um,
it. Well,
This
And
is just
it's
reaction.
so
Yeah.
so much. It's so different than what I was expecting emotionally to feel. Like I thought it was not gonna like
Care,
the
really?
the story I thought was really kind of dumb. But
when
seeing
you read
it
it,
so
it's got holes
yeah.
and it's not complete and it's
I-
weird and
And there's,
awkward.
but it's
Yeah.
so crazy that you get so many answers. And I was actually thinking of Jess watching it because her man Snapey Snape is there.
Gosh.
oh,
Do
And
we
I was
want to?
like,
do
oh
we
my
want to
God.
reveal this information right now?
we can.
But it was just like,
He's
Stop.
very redeeming.
Made me-
He's
oh my God, made me cry.
he
Like,
redeems himself in this play
Yeah.
a lot.
100%.
And then I get closure with Harry and Dumbledore. Like,
Yep.
there's so many things from it that I'm like, people need to like,
But the thing with Harry and Dumbledore too is that they say the things that were not said.
Yeah.
Harry yells at him and tells him that what he did wasn't right. Dumbledore says, "Yeah, it wasn't right," and then he kind of reveals that all the people that he loves, he just f's it all up, and that's one of his things. Like,
It's
he
his
tries
flaw.
to protect, but he ends up messing things up. And that's what Harry did, with Albus.
Harry's very much like Dumbledore.
Correct.
yes, but like that's like he even
Which
said, he goes, I
makes
didn't have
sense.
like my only father
That's
figure
his
was
father.
Dumbledore.
But in the end,
And
they both exchanged "I love yous."
it's just
it's
guys,
true.
it's so good.
If you want to say that Dumbledore didn't love Harry, you are 100%
Or that
incorrect.
Harry
And I am
didn't love
sorry
Dumbledore.
that I am 100% not
No, but
sorry.
we even talked about it too, where like
He loved him.
why he didn't tell him all these things, and he even says then he goes, I didn't want to get too close. Because he's like,
He messes
he even
it
said,
all up.
he goes, everybody that he's ever loved, he goes, I've done something. I immediately
Yes.
was reminded of like his sister
His
and his
sister.
brother, Grindelwald, like all
Grindelwald,
of these
yeah.
people, he's let down. And he's like, I
his
can't
mom,
let Harry
his
down.
dad.
We only know the tip of the iceberg with Dumbledore. We're still gonna learn more about
And
Dumbledore, and I
this is
can't
like
wait.
almost
Yeah.
making me think of like when we're done with all of the Fantastic Beasts movies, I guarantee you a bunch of people that were like hating on crimes are going to be like, I'm totally wrong. Like once you see the whole picture, because
Yeah.
I'm still not a huge fan. I don't hate it. I don't love it.
It just.
But
I think at the end of it, I'm going to be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean? Like,
can't-
and when we say like trust Joe,
Right.
You have
I
to.
can't like I just want to be like, guys, I was so wrong about Cursed Child because you have to trust her.
I think too that because I saw Cursed Child before Crimes came out,
Yeah.
I think that almost made me
Softer
like
to it.
Crimes
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Because like Cursed Child, it's honestly like what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a stain on the fandom a little bit, Cursed Child. People hate it and they
Yeah,
hate it
cheap.
so hard. Like it's like a thing to hate Cursed Child, you know?
And they have, and we were part of that.
Yeah, and I think that because Katie and I saw it, I was like, no, you have to trust her. And people said, people were always saying, they're like, oh, those people who just like put full faith in Joe, like they're just, followers like sheep. And it's like,
All bad
proved it
with the
how many
here's
flaws.
the thing,
and-
she proves it over and over and over again that I can trust her.
Yep.
I can trust what she's going to do. And I guarantee you, had I not had that trust in her, watching Crimes of Grindelwald probably would have been a disappointment because it gives you more questions than answers.
But as it
But
should.
take a step back,
As
we
a
already
second
been
movie.
halfway through that series.
Yes.
And like the thing with Cursed Child, reading it is a completely different experience because you don't see how things are acted. You don't hear emotions. You don't feel the emotions. You're literally reading lines.
Yep.
Which that's
With
like
no
reading.
supporting
It's like
anything.
reading text messages. How many times do people read text
Misinterpret.
messages
Yeah.
wrong?
Yeah.
all the time.
I
all the
completely
time.
misinterpreted the entire play.
Yes.
Katie and I both completely misinterpreted Scorpius until we saw him acted. He's a totally different character read than seen.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like
Even Harry too.
Oh, definitely Harry. Because
Hermione,
that's
right.
because Harry is a huge thing that people hate. They're like, he's a horrible father. I can't believe it. And it's
No,
like,
but, like,
no, but
he-
like you have to understand he has PTSD. And that doesn't come through in the book.
Oh my
but when
God.
you're seeing it play out,
Yeah.
he
It
has
hits you.
issues.
Well,
And
that's
like
good.
I mean
Yeah.
that in the most loving way. Like he should have
Yeah.
issues. Look at what he's gone through.
Well, and the one thing that Joe has always done really, really well is written real people.
Yes.
Like she doesn't write the perfect
Like Snape.
person. She writes real humans. And he even says in the play, he's like they all because Albus Severus obviously like James Sirius doesn't have not that he doesn't have anything to live up to because
The
he
weight.
does, but he and Harry doesn't know his dad, so he doesn't know what it's like to live up to that. Sirius a little bit, but with Albus Severus, those are two of the biggest, well-known throughout probably all of the wizarding, you know what I mean? Like, he's got a lot to live up to with those names, and they're very flawed people, but that's what makes them real, you know what I mean?
But Albus doesn't see them as flawed, and that's his problem, I think, for a lot of the play. I'm sorry, Tiffany, you've had your hand up for like 2 minutes. Go
I think
ahead.
I lost it.
I'm sorry.
I don't want any, like, I'm not hating on James or Sirius or anything.
Well, no, but we
like-
don't have the same emotional
Yeah.
connections to James more so than we do to Albus and Severus. And like this play does a really good job of connecting the dots for Snape and Albus for us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't hate Snape after seeing
No.
this.
Yeah.
No.
Because he sacrifices himself twice. He already knows that he, in this other alternate reality, is dead, and he helps it become a reality again.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, he even, like, you
Yeah.
even see him in the other one where he's still helping Hermione and Ron,
Yeah.
who are the only people left
Yep.
in, like, the resistance,
He's
basically.
faithful.
And then,
loyal.
like, I love, how he's being really mean to Hermione, but then he's, like, joking about it, kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
Like he's a friend.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, he was a friend now. They worked through their issues because clearly, I mean, he was
Well-
horrible to her.
And even, like, you see Ron in, like, the normal timeline where he's talking to Draco, and he's like, you said
I
some
remember
horrible
it.
things to my wife, like, yada yada, and she's like, first of all, Ron, I don't need you to defend me. And I'm like, yes, Hermione, you are a strong woman,
Woman
love
power.
you. And then she's like, he will hug you. She's doing that to Draco. Like, oh, I just, like,
Don't let me
freaking love
forget it
Ron.
Okay, so when I read Ron in the play, he came off as a dummy.
Yes.
He
I was like,
is.
oh my god, they
He
did
is.
it again.
He's not a dummy.
yeah.
He does not come off as a dummy.
No,
When you
he's
see
He just
it.
comes off as
he's
his
just
witty self.
Perfect.
He's witty and funny,
And he loves Hermione.
and he loves what he does. He's a dad,
yeah.
Yeah.
and he's a damn good one.
He makes a very good second Mr. Weasley. Like he
Yeah.
clearly is his father in the
Yeah.
best ways.
Yeah.
Well, like, you know what is so perfect? Because, again, with reading, what are we doing?
Goblet of
Goblet
Fire.
of Fire. Because he talks about, like, because Draco's, like, giving him, like, crap about his dad being, like, a lowly ministry
Ministry?
worker. And he's like, he could have done whatever. He could have, like, been promoted. Ron's not stupid. Ron is so smart.
He was
like,
an Auror for a bit.
all three of them are not, like, by themselves are good students. Hermione's obviously the best one, but, like, Ron wasn't, like, dumb or anything like that. He could have been really successful, and instead he chose to help his brother and work in that after being an Auror.
And let his wife succeed at what she wanted
Yes,
to.
and, like, we all know, like, Hermione, and there's nothing wrong with this. Like, Hermione
a
was never,
working
like,
mom.
yes.
Yeah.
Like, that's perfect. Like, that Hermione never seemed the type that would want to, like, stay home permanently with the kids.
No.
And she's not as maternal, which is not a bad thing.
No.
You know, she wants to be working. She's a good worker. She's smart. That's her drive. Where Ron
That's
has
her
always been a
passion,
family
yeah.
guy. And again, nothing wrong with that. And that's what makes them perfect together. Where he's like, I'll stay home with the kids. I'll
They
be able to
work well.
work this job where, like, you know, if I need to be home at this time because her job is more stressful, he's able to do that. And they both love their roles together. You know what I mean?
It works for them.
Ugh, I just love them
I
together.
think that that's a way that that Jo was. I know she didn't fully write this. She worked with Jack Thorne and I can't remember the other John Tiffany. But I think that I think in a way that was her way of including more diversity with her characters too, by having Hermione be a working mom and Ron be mostly a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
And I love that
He's
she
like-
did that.
He's
like half and half, yeah.
He's just, guys,
He helps
so
George,
good.
but yeah.
Made me literally sob when he was like, Hermione, I've always loved you. And I was
Okay.
like, oh.
Yeah.
That, oh my god, I loved that part so much. And like when Hermione was like a daughter and a son, and then he said something like, I would love that
like
too.
The sound of that or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the sound of that too. And then they kiss, and then they get kissed by dementors.
Then they
But
kissed
then
again.
And then they
but
lose
then they
their
come
souls.
back.
But they got better.
They go back.
Can I totally go whoop different route with what we're talking about?
Yeah.
I mean,
So
just
I
talk
don't
about how
forget.
great Ron is. We could just talk about it for the
It's
rest of
not
the time.
about Ron. I have to talk about Delphi for a second.
Yeah.
Pause. Because when she was playing her character, I'm like, literally don't know why your voice is like this. Don't understand it.
Yeah, I didn't like her voice.
But
She sounds like Bellatrix.
she sounds like Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she would do that whole, itchy, you know, she's
Yes.
an itchy bitchy baby Potter and all of that kind of stuff.
You're so right.
She was doing that, and I'm thinking, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And then I'm like, she guaranteed studied
that's
every
her
single
mom.
thing. And if you looked at her, body language and the way that she did things, she was
Body language. I always think of the lady from
Bellatrix.
Ursula.
Yep.
she was Bellatrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because she did the high pitched voice and the taunting and things like that, and then
So, can we talk? I want to know your guys' thoughts on Delphi being Voldemort's daughter. Now
I
that
freaking love it.
now that you've seen the play, like, how do you feel about it?
I think my
Words.
my biggest hang up is not appropriate, but I want to know how.
I mean,
Was it magic, or was it an actual act of
we talked about it
human
yesterday.
things?
I like what Harry. I didn't catch this the first time we saw it, or I forgot or whatever. But Harry, they figure it out. Dumbledore has a child, and Harry says the ultimate.
Voldemort has a child.
yeah. Voldemort has a child, and Harry says
The ultimate
Horcrux.
yeah.
So, like we said yesterday,
It was another way to preserve himself
Yeah,
somehow.
but do you think it was
Bloodline.
a spell?
No.
no, I
No,
don't think so.
but I think that it was very Handmaid's Tale-esque,
I
where
think
there
it
was
just
no
to do
emotion
it.
involved. Maybe on Bellatrix's end, possibly, but not
Yeah.
on Voldemort's end. It was
Yeah.
literally just to create another type of Horcrux.
Yeah, that makes me feel kind of bad for Delphi.
I agree, because she's
Little
not
bit.
a child of love.
Well, and again, that goes back to the saying I swear to God I say all the time, which is you're a product of your environment. Like, unfortunately for her, she grew up, like she even talked about, she grew up in the Rowell house, correct?
Raoul, yeah.
And those aren't nice people.
yeah.
She doesn't have, like,
Isn't
they didn't
he
want
the
her
catcher?
there.
Wasn't he the one that caught
Thorfinn?
Hermione?
Isn't that his first name?
Thorfinn Raoul,
Raoul.
right?
Raoul?
Raoul.
That was who she grew up with. He
Um,
was a piece of work.
But, like, she grew up in a house that the only reason they had her, because she's like, they were my caretakers. She's like, and because they got money.
Do you think they treated
They
her
did
like
it.
a mini queen?
I bet you they treated her like Harry.
Yeah, I bet she wasn't treated well.
Even though she was
There
the
was some-
offspring of Lord V?
Did they know that? Or did they just get money to be like, here's this orphan baby?
No, I guarantee that she
I
was
feel
treated
like
well.
they probably knew it.
But wouldn't they be in on this? So is there going to be a part 9? Because she's still alive.
She's
True.
going to Azkaban.
She's in
Doesn't
Whispers.
matter. People break out of whispers every 2 seconds.
I think say every Tuesday.
I was just gonna say that.
It's like clockwork. Or calendar work.
But, like, okay, so I guess going back to my question to you guys, like, seeing it play out, it's not as weird.
No, because
There's nothing weird about
I
it.
mean,
watching
he
it.
split his soul into 7 pieces. Like 8 pieces, whatever.
Yeah.
8 pieces of 7.
I don't whatever.
I'd like 10 pieces of a
Some
nugget,
chicken
please.
nugget, yes.
Like, he made it pretty clear to us that,
He would do whatever it takes.
yes.
He
Yes.
would do whatever it takes to survive.
Just literally obsessed
Which, you
with
know,
immortality.
He killed
Probably
his
could've-
own family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can do it all.
Yeah. His makeup looked great from what I could see with these old eyes.
Yeah.
What else?
The whole, like,
Give me more
Harry being
questions.
transformed into Voldemort thing was
So
I didn't see
good.
him transform back. Like, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, he's Harry again.
I know.
Like, it's the
Didn't he
magic.
he disappeared under the floor, didn't he?
I don't know.
For the whole
Transformed.
Harry to
Vol-
Voldemort thing.
yeah.
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 Harry
It was a
disappeared under.
completely different actor. That
Yeah.
Was, yeah.
For sure.
Correct.
You're
Um,
gay.
the magic.
in this is just amazing.
Yeah.
It's magical.
The spells. Let's talk about that.
Seeing, like, Incendio and, like, the fire, like,
Avada
shooting.
Kedavra with the green.
Woof.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Looked so cool.
Who was that guy? Craig.
Craig.
R.I.P. Pour one out. Jinx.
Isn't it? Oh, it's with Carl. It's Clown College with Carl.
What?
Carl's cousin. You were on that episode with me.
I don't know what's
This is
going
like
on.
the second or third time Sarah's brought it up, and you have no clue. What
You can tell
Catch a hint.
she doesn't pay attention to me when I talk. It was just you and I talking.
All right.
I hate everything about you.
All right.
Poor Craig. Pour
Let's-
one out for him.
Talk about watching Harry watch his parents get killed.
That's what did me in London. Because one,
well,
I
I
forgot
was
about
sobbing before that.
Hold on. Before we even get to that, can we talk about his intermission? And Megan goes, well, you started crying way before the part I thought you were going to.
Yeah, we were crying a lot tonight. We cried yesterday though,
I
too.
cried.
Well,
I didn't
when
cry
did
yesterday.
intermission
Oh, I
hit?
did.
What was the end? Where were they?
They found out that Voldemort had
a daughter.
Oh,
a daughter.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at the old folks' home.
Okay.
The writings and stuff.
So
The writing was on the wall.
Literally,
they had
everywhere.
gone back. They had gone back already, right?
They're back in time. The kids are, yeah.
Okay.
Should we
Yes.
talk about Amos?
Still don't like him.
and
still-
how
but
he was
being controlled.
controlled.
So yeah.
He was
guys-
being controlled then
no.
after they talked to him. No, he was still mean to Harry.
I
Listen,
know.
There's so many things that I can say about it because
but
Harry feels
I hate
so bad.
I hate to
I
be
know.
this person.
Get out.
You're not a parent.
I'm not saying he's not right,
No,
but like
he
that's,
wants-
that's
he-
so wrong of you, regardless that's your child or not,
He
to say
wants
those
someone
things
to
to Harry.
blame.
he wants someone to blame.
It's not Harry's fault.
I'm not saying it is.
I
I said at the
honestly
beginning of this
probably-
that there's no blood on Harry's hands for any of that. He is a desperate man,
If I was
and I
Amos,
cannot blame him.
If I was Amos, I would blame Albus, Dumbledore. I would blame Dumbledore because he was
didn't-
the headmaster at
he
the
didn't
time.
see Moody.
He didn't
Make
see
me-
any of that coming. He didn't protect Cedric from that happening. I personally, I mean, I'm not a parent either, but I can envision myself maybe in Amos's shoes, and I would put the blame on
You
Dumbledore.
You scrap for anything that you can grab to put the blame on something because you're so deeply just
Devoted.
and torn apart.
Yeah.
That Cedric was his life.
But here's my thing. He was still mean pre his son ever dying. I
No.
just am not a fan of
No,
him.
he wasn't a nice guy. He was a jerk, and he was a jerk.
Yeah.
I think like for me,
I can understand. I can not really empathize, but I'm gonna use that word.
it's just like you see Harry go through all of these emotions where those are all of those things he thinks about himself, and then to hear
And to
someone
hear it
say them
projected
all
on
out
him.
loud, he's going to again like think all the worst things of himself that aren't true,
yeah.
and be like, oh my god, like these are like it's true, like I'm a horrible person and I caused all of these people to die and it's all of my fault. And
It's hard because, again, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's hard because Harry clearly, like I've said a couple times, like he has PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has real issues that he probably should go to therapy for. And I don't know if he has or hasn't. That's obviously not talked about. But it's really hard whenever somebody like Amos comes in and projects those things on him when he already struggles with it.
Yeah.
And that's just going to make it even harder for Harry.
Yeah. They honestly, communication between the two, because I bet that they could really bond,
yeah, I could see that.
and it's
'Cause,
just
like,
not, they're both too defensive about it.
Yes, Harry wants to say like he feels all those same things, but he's not. He doesn't want to hear it. Neither one of them do, kind of.
Yeah.
Harry's just so Harry in this.
Oh my god,
in
yeah.
this play. Like, I love seeing him work through things with Dumbledore because we know that he feels those things in the books that we have so much information on, but we have a span of 19 plus years.
Correct.
And clearly he is still working through this stuff from the Dursleys. Oh my god.
Yes.
All those dreams.
The fake ones, like the stuff that didn't even happen.
Yes, the dreams, Dumbledore trying to figure it out with Albus and how he didn't have a father figure, so he doesn't know how to be a dad, but he wants to try, but he's got all this other crap he's working through.
It's hard when you don't understand your kid and they're not like you. You know what I
But
mean?
he is
But
like
he
him.
is.
But he is. But
But he's also very Ginny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like he's hard. Do you know what I mean? James is easy.
James opens up. It
Yeah.
seems to me
Yeah.
James opens up to Harry. He wants to have a relationship with him. Lily opens up to Harry.
And
Albus closes
he
himself off.
challenges him.
Harry
Yes.
also closes himself off. Like that's why they're
Yes.
so
because
similar.
he can't. Yeah, because he can't get a grasp on it, and the door shuts.
Like
Go ahead. What did you?
What did your eyes
What
bug
did you
out
gasp
about?
Oh,
about?
because I was thinking about the dream. So he has a dream where he's with his Aunt Petunia at his parents' grave, and then I
Right.
realized, because we all think he's a seer, and we're not wrong. Thank you, bye. I mean, we do. I agree with you. I've agreed with you.
I am the OG.
That's where he was. He had to go there. Like, and he didn't. We didn't. Did we know this yet, or did we not know that yet? That he was in Godric's Hollow, like the kids were.
What?
When he had that dream.
Oh, no, at that point we didn't. So that was another way of his mind showing him where he needed to be.
You're welcome. You heard it here, folks.
That would be probably one of my first Dear Joe questions I'd want confirmation on from her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, tell me,
Yes.
Joe.
And if she says
But-
no, she's
and then
lying.
what did he say? He said something towards the end. Like, I think Ginny said something to him when they were in the church, and he said something back, and the guy next was just like, stupid. Did you hear him say that? And then I'm like laughing. He said
the guy
something
next
so
to me?
hairy, yeah. God, something happened, and it was so
Oh,
funny. It was
they
so
were talking
perfect.
about Albus. Oh,
No, was it whenever
Exploding
he, like,
Snap.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy's like,
So we need
he's
to
like, come on.
That guy was really funny, by
Yeah.
the way.
He's like, so we need more exploding snap.
No.
Oh my God,
You
Harry.
need to be
And then
open and
the
honest with
parts
him.
of it that were super emotional, I could hear other people in the
Sniffing,
like
and
crying.
Yeah.
snot and blood and tears and sweat.
Oh my God, guys,
All
it is so good. And if I talk about this part again, I'm going to talk about it, but it's going to make me cry probably. So, like, you obviously what's going on. You hear Lily and James
the
talk to
conversation,
Voldemort
yeah,
and
with Voldemort.
die, and it's horrendous. But you're watching them watch it, so you're seeing Harry's reaction.
From the
you
church.
You see Ron and Hermione. You see Albus and
Even
his parents.
Draco and Scorpius.
Oh my God! That
I mean,
whole thing-
Scorpius was in Draco's chest, and
Yeah.
Draco was
Hiding.
covering him.
Yeah.
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 Like, when they, like, met up, he's like, you can give me a hug. And I was like, oh.
And Scorpius literally jumped into his arms.
Yeah. Like, there's so many things to be said about it. Hold on, I'm not done. So,
There's a lot of feelings.
you see them reacting to Harry's parents dying, and then Harry has, like, a gut-wrenching scream.
It reminded me of
Of
Order
Lil-
of the Phoenix whenever Sirius died.
And you can't hear
and
it.
Remus is holding him back, but this time Ginny is.
Oh my God.
So
it's
here's
sad.
the
I'm
thing.
not done yet.
But in that movie, I wish they would have not blocked out the sound.
No,
liked
I like that scene a lot.
It
Oh,
made it more
It's-
painful.
No,
Yeah.
I think it was worse.
I needed it.
You got it today.
Yeah. So you see him, he falls to his knees. Both Ginny and, like, Albus go down to, like, and the thing's turning, and then you see flame
goes
come up,
dark.
and it comes to, like, the house. I'm gonna start to cry, and it's not even real. Okay.
Your main man.
So
real
Hagrid comes
Esther.
out.
Did you like Hagrid better in this scene?
It
He
was
a little
so
better.
much
It was
better today.
But,
Yeah.
like, it's so emotional, because he's there, and he's talking to Harry.
Good God. Don't
Tell
look at
I'm
her.
emotional.
Don't look at her. Her vision is based on movement. From Jurassic Park. Her crying is based on vision. It's like, I don't know what I'm saying.
But he's talking to Harry, and he's like, just saying these.
he's
He's
gonna be
picking
We're gonna
his
be
kids up, and he's
friends.
like, you know, it's just
You're gonna
there's
be my
so
friend
many
whether
things,
you like it or not.
and it's just so cute. And then he picks him up, and it's like so heart wrenching. And I'm so
Like, he's
glad that
taking
Hagrid's
him-
the one there.
And he folds
Yeah.
up the blanket.
He's taking him away from his home because his parents are gone.
Mm.
And, like, what was so awful is that, like, I mean, Harry, it's not like Harry was watching this on a screen. Like, he was literally there back in time, and he had to let it happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He could have run in there and, you know, obviously totally messed up time, but he could have gone in there and saved them. But, like, what would that have done to the Wizarding world?
And think about for Harry Potter to not act and save someone takes
Yeah.
an incredible amount of self-control.
And
'Cause he knew
bravery.
the repercussion.
That was Gryffindor right there.
Yeah.
Him being able to hold back and watch that happen.
Yeah, Ginny's like, you don't have to watch it, and he's like, if
No.
I'm gonna let it happen,
I
need
have to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said they'll all watch it with him, and it was just
gut wrenching. And, like, the one thing I do like, because you get a little bit of closure with Draco's whole storyline, and, like, with the trio and all of that stuff, how they were all there to see it together. Because at the end of the day, like, his
Draco's
son.
not a bad person.
No, I mean, again, he's a product of his environment, and you see how he was talking to Harry in his office, and he's
Couldn't
like,
stand his dad.
no, he like went against. He goes, I didn't care. He's like, or no, he's talking to. Is it when he's talking to Scorpius in his office when it's in the alternate timeline? And he's like,
reality.
my father didn't want me to marry Astoria, and said she was weak, and he did all of these things. He's like, he didn't care because he loved her, and then he's like, the best day of my life was when my son was born.
Yeah, you
That
got to
was when
see
he was
the
talking
real
to Harry.
Draco,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You got to see the real Draco.
Oh my god, it's so like, it's so good. You guys have to see it.
So they bring up the blood curse,
Yeah.
and I think that
Astoria and
Both of
Nagini.
she's
you.
related to Nagini.
I agree.
So, guys, I'm sitting in between Megan and Tiffany, and at the same time, they're like, she's related to Nagini, but they can't hear each other, and I was like, yeah, okay.
They
like,
have to be. I guarantee you they're related.
And I
somehow,
have
yeah.
to say that I think that her little drop of a blood malediction and cursed child was totes foreshadowing for Crimes of Grindelwald.
Completely. And it just lets you know, like,
It gives me peace of mind
she
again.
thinks these things through.
Again,
Just trust her.
Joe.
Yeah.
That needs to be a shirt.
Hashtag trust in Joe.
Hashtag
We need to make that shirt.
trust Joe.
Trust in Joe.
Trust in Joe. There you go. We're coming out with new merch right here.
It's coming out.
You heard it here first, folks.
Can we?
There's gonna be some tie to her.
I hope so.
To
yeah,
Story
absolutely.
Malfoy. It's gonna be.
Yeah.
If she's gonna tie this back to Potter in any kind of way in that fifth movie, or even, well, it would have to be the fifth one, or even on Pottermore in the family tree, whatever, she's gonna wrap that up.
Yeah.
I guarantee it comes full circle.
I just want to see the whole play again, if I'm being 1,000% honest.
I need it to be on a Blu-ray
I know.
or
Tell
a
me-
digital copy.
Tell me your guys' thoughts on. I want to talk Draco more.
Okay.
There's so much to be said. I loved the whole story.
I wish he would have a haircut.
Yes.
There's parts of it where I'm like, is his hair braided? Like, was it French braided a
No,
little
I
bit?
think it's just a ponytail.
I would like if it was more, I like yours. Like the short, I like the shorter sides and the long on top. I think he would
thanks.
look really good like
I
that.
think he would too.
The blonde.
He could still have his sort of slick back, but with a little bit of a new style.
Yeah.
I think that Draco is just as complicated in Harry in his own ways.
Like
And
the opposite of it, you know,
They're
they're
like-
very similar.
Yes.
He was raised. He had a mother and a father, but he had a father who was willing to give him up to Voldemort.
Yeah.
Give up his own son's life to Voldemort. But thankfully, he had a mother who loved him. So it was like he did have a balance, thankfully. And I think that because of that balance, we see he grasped to his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And in the alternate reality, or no, when he's talking to Harry, we learn how he wasn't a fan of his dad.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
and then also like in the alternate reality when like Voldemort Day is happening and Umbridge is the headmaster and Voldemort is still very much alive and in charge. Very much alive. We even see then, even though Lucius is head of magical law enforcement, which is what Harry's job was, and Harry is dead, that
Wait, you mean Draco?
No,
Harry's dead.
Harry's
This
dead.
is alternate universe.
Harry's not even.
Harry doesn't exist.
No.
Draco's not in any timeline.
Draco's head of magical law enforcement in the alternate reality when Voldemort is
You said
alive.
Lucius.
No, she didn't.
Oh, sorry.
Listen,
let
it's
me
like
finish.
You're
Is it
like,
midnight?
Draco's dead. And I was
God,
like,
it is.
no, not in any timeline. And then you're like, you said Lucius.
I'm so confused.
Okay.
Wait, I don't
Okay.
even know what I said.
So,
sorry.
It was all
anyway.
nonsense and gobbledygook.
Sorry, babe.
It's
I
okay.
lost my
It's
train
listeners,
of
not just
thought.
patrons.
Huh?
What?
I said sorry, babe.
Oh, I only said sorry, patrons. Okay, let's just go back.
This is a regular episode.
Megan. I like legit. I don't remember what I was talking
No,
about.
are you talking about, you even, because
I
Scorpius
was gonna
comes
say.
in
Oh,
and
I was gonna talk about how much of a pushover Draco turns into whenever he's in magical law enforcement. He literally is just doing Voldemort's bidding in the Ministry, pretty much, and Scorpius calls him out on it, and he gets really mad at first, but then he softens almost immediately whenever Scorpius starts talking about Astoria.
Well,
He's mad at first, but then it comes back around, and he's like, did your mother really say that about me? That he's a better man than Scorpius believes that he is.
Mm-hmm.
And when he points that out, Draco is like, did she really say that?
And I think that, like, not saying he's a pushover, I think he's just doing that to survive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe he's like, I'm trying to, like, he's trying to not let all of these horrible things happen, but there's not much he can do.
I also wonder in that alternate reality, Skate. I wonder if he is. I wonder if he's proud of who Scorpius is, or if he's kind of upset about it. Because I feel like he is, like, Scorpius is very. He's not a nice person in this alternate reality. He doesn't do homework, and he forces people to do it for him. And
I love
Scorpion King.
I love his reaction. He's like, I don't like homework.
Because he loves it in, like, the real reality.
What did he have? History of Magic?
Yeah.
And didn't he say when they, like, went back in time when they're in 81, he said, like, I'm geeking out or something like that.
Yeah, about Mathilda Bagshot.
Yeah.
Buzzing.
Because he's like, oh, that's her.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shout out to Bathilda.
And it's
R.I.P.,
so-
man.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you can finish that, and then I want to say another thing about him being there.
Sarah has feelings.
I don't know. I was just gonna say that. I wonder how proud or not Draco is of who Scorpius is in that alternate reality, because he doesn't take after his mom like he does in the real timeline.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that he's probably, like, for a show, proud of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then deep down, he's like, you're acting just like I did, and it's wrong. But since it's like an evil world, it's like...
I think that, I agree with that, and I think that maybe he's like, I'm okay with it right now because it's keeping him safe.
Yeah, he, like, knows it's not right, but it's like, what the heck are you gonna do when it's a Voldemort day every day?
Right.
Celebrate and buy crew neck sweatshirts?
Yeah. Definitely. For Voldemort and Valor.
I love when he was like...
What's the hand motion?
Oh, God.
And so I also love to see how they're in Godric's Hollow. It's 1981.
Halloween. All those jack-o'-lanterns were super
that was
cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
But, like, Scorpius is, like, telling Albus all of these things about it. Like, he should know all of these things. And Albus doesn't know. Like, did he say they'd never been there?
No,
yeah.
Scorpius
he didn't know that there was a statue for his dad and his grandparents.
Didn't he say, like, his dad goes there, doesn't he?
Didn't he say that Harry had offered
Never
a couple
go
times?
here.
But Albus said
Albus
no.
never wanted to go.
And, like, so it's so strange to hear Scorpius telling him all these things, like, that's your heritage, that's where your family came from, and that's where it all started.
Harry.
Yeah. And I think, like, well, when he comes back, you know.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's so good.
Okay.
Lilith.
I have an overall question. Like, now that you've seen both parts, what's your favorite special effect?
Tiffany's nosebleed. In the nosebleeds.
It was what?
She had a nosebleed nougat.
My nosebleeds are real. Can I pick two things?
Yeah.
I like the Dementors, and I like time.
Time still wins.
It's in your chest.
There were so many things when they were, because I love a good pun, that they, like, kept using, like, they not on purpose,
puns.
but, like, I was giggling in my head. But yeah, the time was cool.
What did Scorpius say? He made an awesome pun. And he's like, I've been working on that all day.
Yes, and it was like me with all my find out
Yeah,
how
it was
big
pretty
those
good.
mouse tails.
It was awesome.
Whatever.
I enjoyed it, guys.
Time is the best effect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did it ruin it that you know how it works? Because it doesn't ruin it for me, because I can it still tricks
No,
my
because it's like
eyes.
going, like, when you said going to Disney and, like,
I
it's still
to,
magical
I
to
tried
see
to
the
like
castle
really
lit up,
look
you know?
at it,
Yeah.
and
Nope.
you can't.
Looks like the whole thing turned to water, and it's just like... Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
I
blah,
like
blah.
how part of the stage opened up with like the lake,
Yeah.
I like.
I
the
also-
opposite.
Ripped.
I did notice.
They're both.
Again.
Dude.
I also really loved all of the writing, all of
Yes.
the whole
Yeah.
theater.
Yeah.
And then they're going, Megan's looking, she goes, I wonder how they do it. And I was like, projections. They projected onto the
I
There's like
literally-
mini projectors all over the
I thought
place.
it
I
was black
literally
light.
thought that it was like black light.
And I literally
And
was
I
like,
was staring and I'm like, why can't I see anything?
my
love
Ravenclaw is
magic.
showing. I'm like, they were projected up there.
I love magic.
But the when Ron and Hermione had their souls so gently sucked out.
And they just like
Um,
disappear up
you-
in the Dementors.
Well, they like disappear, but you can see their arms go. Ron's went from like this
Yeah.
to this when they were in
Yeah,
the
they
air.
can't see that though.
But I don't care. I'm talking to these people too.
No detail is overlooked. I didn't know until maybe a couple weeks before we came here. Meg sent us an article where every night before the show they put Harry's scar of "I must not tell lies" on his hand.
Yeah.
Someone else would say that's not important, but like
But it
is.
is.
It is. It's him.
You know,
He'll
Yeah.
have that.
And those are
forever.
like those little details that like us freaks,
Love.
like,
Love.
And
we'll be
if
like,
it
oh my
was
god, did you see
missing-
that?
If it was missing,
someone would know.
someone would say it.
Mhm. Like the boulder hat. Except it's not a boulder hat, it's a bowler hat.
It should just
That's a
be
nice
witch's hat.
mold.
But I wonder though, like,
Did something happen to it in the battle?
I wonder.
Ask
No.
Neville.
Oh my god. Edwin's-
Neville's mentioned
who-
how important Neville is.
Who?
Just,
Hold on. Who was it? Severus. He's like he wasn't like the important. Someone said he the unimportant student. Like he killed someone unimportant. Neville Longbottom. I was like, oh, what?
I think it was Snape.
Do you
I
say
was
that?
like, he's so important. I
Because
love
that's
Neville.
who, yeah, because Scorpius was trying to figure out the story or the timeline and like how things worked out. And
I
think
liked-
Snape said that.
I really liked, speaking of magic things, when he drew on the thing and then it was a door.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh yeah, that
It was really cool.
I also loved Ron at that part. He's like,
Yes.
you mean to tell me that like
The fate of the
the
wizarding
fate of the
world
Wizarding World lies with like Neville not dying?
with Neville
Yeah.
Longbottom.
Yeah.
And what I also like, because Scorpius doesn't tell, like, Scorpius tells Hermione and Ron, and it was so funny, because he's like, you guys are kind of married. And then Severus is like, I'm assuming I died because the way you were very shocked to hear I was here, and, like, that I was teaching or whatever.
He's a clever one.
Oh, when he
Yeah.
asks how, and Scorpius is like Voldemort, and he is like, it's very annoying or something like
Yeah,
that.
so
Yeah.
Snape.
How infuriating.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that actor's portrayal.
Of Snape? Yeah.
I mean,
The
no one's
d-
gonna be
No,
Rickman.
No one will ever be Alan
No.
Rickman.
He just
The
had
guy-
a birthday.
Yep.
Yes.
Up in heaven.
The guy who did Dumbledore, fantastic.
He was really good.
So good.
Fantastic. That
The
gave
portraits
me feels.
are really cool.
That
Mhm.
that gave me serious feels.
Oh my god, I was sobbing.
When he was talking about, he didn't say names, but he was talking about. I should stop doing that, shouldn't
Yeah.
I? Sorry if you heard a bunch of clicking. I was playing with my glasses case. Talking about Ariana and Grindelwald and
Yeah.
and you know Aberforth is thrown in there too. They could have fixed that relationship, and it kills me.
But, like,
They lived apart for so long.
I think that there's something, like, because he does say, he's like, we did reconcile, but I think that in some relationships,
It's never the same.
it's not fixed, it's fixable to be,
It's
like,
fixable
you know,
to
it's
a
like one of those
point.
things when they tell,
But
like,
here's the thing: Dumbledore would have never. I wish it could have been fixed, but Dumbledore would have never fixed it. And do you want to know why? Because my main man in his life would have never opened up.
correct.
He would never have opened up.
If he
But,
never
like-
opened up to Aberforth would have been in danger. So in a way, I kind of feel like Dumbledore is protecting Aberforth by staying distant, just like he
Even
was trying
after
to do to Harry.
Grindelwald was gone? No, come on.
Here's my thing,
He
though, with
could
the
have, but he
whole,
wouldn't, because that's Dumbledore.
like,
The only reason why he opened up was because he was a freaking portrait and he's dead.
do you know, like,
Right.
when they
Honestly,
have
that's
talk
my
about
man.
students and bullying, and they have, like, here's this piece of paper, and they have them, like, crumple it up and, like, rip it up and do all these things, and
Yes,
they're like, all of these
I do
things can
this.
hurt you, and then you flatten out the piece of paper, you can tape it back together, and yes, it's still a piece of paper, you can write on it, you could do all these things, it works just the same, but it's never going to be that original piece of paper. Like, that relationship has gone through all those things, and they you can mend it, but it's never going to be perfect, unfortunately. And I think that that's just something that Dumbledore has to live with, and they are always, like, you can't change on who your family is regardless if you want to or not. And that's going to be his brother. Like, they're related, but they don't have to, you know what I mean?
But here's the thing to counter that as well. All of that is correct. But if you want something to work, like you said, the piece of paper will still work as, like, it could, and it can be good. You
But
just
it can't
have to,
be perfect.
It can't be perfect, but you have to work at it.
Correct.
And
No.
you have to put in the effort. And
Because, I mean, in reality, you probably could take an iron and make that paper pretty flat.
But, like, think if you ripped it up and put, and you, like, use tape to put it back
Scotch tape.
together,
Glue.
and you write on it, it's, like, the bits with the, like, with
yeah,
the,
no, and I
the
get that.
stickers. What am I talking about?
I like stickers.
You could get little pieces of paper and, like, paper mache it together. To
What
get
are we
it more
talking
perfect.
about?
But I'm just saying, like, and also with Dumbledore, like, they're two stubborn humans.
I think
you know?
Aberforth, too.
That's what
I
I'm
mean, like,
saying. The
Yeah.
the only way that could mend is if
both of
And
them.
it's hard to-
Dumbledore was Dumbledore was dead.
And it's hard to talk about your feelings, though. You know what I mean? Like,
Especially
it's hard.
when you're a closed person, you've been trained to be closed. He was trained to be a closed person from jump. You're a product of your environment.
Yeah,
well, so is Albus.
Their whole lives were
Dumbledore.
based around secrecy. You know what I mean?
Secrets and lies.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I mean, if you learn anything from the Potter series, it's that you need to be empathetic.
Yeah.
Not everybody's situation is like your situation. Don't take something the way you would take it. You have to understand what other people are saying for their own situations. Correct?
Agreed.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Interpretations, my friend.
Yeah.
Interpretations.
I mean, that's literally how, like, I mean, any topic that we talk about in Harry Potter.
Correct.
And that's the tea. But I mean, it's true. And I've talked about it too. Like, there's something you just have to have perspective. Everyone's perspective on a situation is different. Megan, Katie, Tiffany, and I all just saw this exact same play tonight, and we all are taking something away from it different because we're all different people, and we came to the play in a different way. Each and every one of us take something different from this series because we are all different people.
That's the beauty
even,
of it.
Yeah.
and even when we talk, we interpret things differently.
Oh, yeah.
The way
That's
I
why-
read something and feel something in the way my Harry Potter characters are.
And it's always wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
That's probably true. But it's not going to be the same as the way you guys interpret things and how your Harry Potter characters.
And I love that, because we'll read a chapter and you'll be like, well, I have a question about this, and I'll be like, well,
Or, like, this is how I always
of
viewed
that.
this.
Yeah.
or-
It's really cool to gain new perspective. Just
That-
between four people.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
That's the sign of a great author.
Yes.
A great author.
Yes.
A great author that can change my mind on a character that I thought I was like, oof.
I will say this, and I think for most of my journey, especially with us being on the podcast, that I only hate one character, and I still don't like her because
Yeah.
she's literally
Umbridge.
and she's the worst.
Yep.
Like, I don't hate Snape. I hate
Okay.
things he has done,
Ooh, I have a question after
but there's
you're done,
also
after
some
you're done.
redeemable things. And watching him in this play, I was like, oh my god. I was like literally sitting there, I'm like, oh, Jess, you're gonna be like making a happy dance.
Did I
making-
not lean over to you and said, I think I like Snape?
And like right as I'm thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I might like him a bit better now.
Yeah.
I think that we should go around and state that we accept him separately so that people can actually hear us say it.
I, Tiffany O'Malley, enjoy me some Snapey Snape.
I, Megan Petrus, do believe that Snape redeemed himself in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and I can get behind his character.
I, Katie Petrus, do appreciate the efforts of Severus Snape. I don't hate him.
Do you love him?
No, I'm not gonna love him.
I know,
but,
I know.
She appreciates.
But truly, Cursed Child does shine him in a much brighter light.
Correct.
Even like it makes his light that you learn about in Potter
Even
shine
brighter.
even brighter.
Yeah.
As a green evil. No.
Oh my god, Tiffany.
Slytherin for life.
I don't like saying my name for whatever
Just do
reason.
it.
Yellamo harass.
I almost did that. So I, Sarah O'Malley, think I'm the best person on this podcast. I'm just kidding. But I'm not.
You just wheezed it.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, I like him. I don't love him, but he
You can
gave me
like
closure.
A character
You know what I
that's
mean?
Not a nice
like, this
person.
gave me
Yeah.
Snape closure. Closure
Yeah.
on Snape.
There you go.
Snapping closure. The case is closed.
I feel like
And I'm like, you know what?
The great Snape debate is over.
Yeah, and I like that even in the other timelines, he's still fighting the good fight.
Lilith.
And, like, Harry's gone, and he doesn't have... I mean,
True.
you know...
oh my god, whenever he's like writing on the board and Scorpius says you loved his mother,
Stop.
we're looking at his back.
Yeah.
And Snape's reaction to those words.
Like, you
it
see
gave
him
me
harden, like, the
chills.
whole... Like, stiffen, his whole body's, like... Because he probably hasn't heard that in...
Forever.
Years.
Yeah.
And he thinks
yeah.
about it every day.
I'm sure. Because he even produces his Patronus, and it is
Still the dough.
the dough. And it's so
So
interesting that
important.
Scorpius even says something in the woods to him.
It was famous.
That's
I mean, it's
Lily's
part of Harry's
Patronus.
story, you know? I bet all of that was written
Oh,
down.
it's all in history books.
Yeah. Oh, you're in the woods camping. They even brought that up. Didn't they say they were camping?
When?
Somewhere in the play.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Puffs?
Could be thinking of Puffs.
They brought that up. Yeah.
Now I'm wondering.
And, like, I like how Scorpius even says, he's like, I thought of, like, it's such a good friendship story, because Delphi even said, she's like, I found your weakness, that your father had the same one, and it's friendship. And, like, with Harry, like, it is, because he doesn't have, it's like, he has a friendship with, like, wizarding kind, really.
Yeah.
More so, not that he's not trying to save his own friends, because he is, but, like, the relationship
knows
was...
that he has a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with Scorpius and Albus, like, they're best friends.
You know what a hard life that is.
To know that you have a purpose.
But, like,
And you have to fulfill that.
That big of a purpose.
Yeah.
You know?
at least he didn't have
where
to do
your
it
life's
for
on the line.
years.
You know, it's one thing, we all have a purpose, right? But it's one thing where your purpose is to have people's lives, like, on
Your
your
purpose
back.
is
You
to
have to
die.
What
watch
does Harry say?
You also have to watch people sacrifice themselves for you.
He says, how many people have to die for the boy who lived?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
he's
that part
torn
killed me
up.
too because
And then,
he thinks Albus is gonna die.
Oh, yeah.
the end, when he, Scorpius is, or Albus is like, where are we? And he's like, this is where Cedric died, like, and he goes there, he goes, I come here from time to time, like, that's so
To apologize.
gut-wrenching, because it's been 20 plus years, and like Megan has said with PTSD, he still carries that guilt,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
he's going
yeah.
to, probably till the day he dies, like, he's going to have a part of him that thinks it's his fault,
Yeah.
you know, because he said, let's take the cup together, and
Just trying to do the right thing.
yeah,
As far as friendship goes, too, I mean, what saves Scorpius from the Dementors? Thinking
Albus.
of Albus.
and so in the other timeline where Ron is married to Padma,
I thought you were going to say Neville.
and it's the third timeline.
The third
I
time.
wouldn't hate it, but you see Harry's like, you're not allowed to be friends with him, you're not allowed to, like, talk to him, don't look at him, and they're like, don't even breathe this air.
dare?
Do you dare
That
stand
broke
where
my
he
heart.
stood? Well, and then so
You make me bleed
For
my own
Albus.
blood.
And
when
Scorpius.
when they're sitting at the table in the Potter's kitchen, and Draco's like talking about loneliness, and he's like, you had friends. He goes, I had Crabbe and Goyle. I had no one at home, and like he talks about the fact that like you're literally stripping everything away from these two guys where they have nothing, because neither one of them have fathers that they want to turn to, because they have a bad relationship at this point in time with them, and now you're taking their one friend away. Like, that's such a
The
huge
fact-
thing.
The fact that Draco came to Harry's home to ask him to let up on this also another turning point for Draco for me.
And think about, too,
Yeah.
like, how... Because we know Scorpius doesn't have a great relationship with Draco at this point. And he goes, my kid... He comes in, he's like, why is my son in tears? Like, the fact that he's so upset he's willing to talk to his dad about it.
Yeah.
And the fact that Draco's like, I need to fix this. Like, this is bad.
Well,
My
and
son
we
is
know...
hurting.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't... They don't communicate well with their sons.
No.
But he loves
I don't
him.
think
Yes.
Draco can communicate well with anyone, to be honest with you, because of one,
I think he
the
had
way
a lonely childhood.
For sure.
the way he was raised and the way people communicated with him. I think what we're seeing is Narcissa coming through in these moments where we're like, okay, yeah, you're doing okay, Draco, you're doing okay. And I think that's all what Narcissa does, but, you know, the way that Draco communicates with people is ordering and telling and bossing, and it's all one-sided, and he has to retrain himself and come out of that.
I was gonna say he dealt with a lot of being told what to do.
Yeah, and so that's
Well,
what he does.
And
Yeah.
two, you see, he's so emotional talking about his wife's death. Like, I can't, and
I bet they were adorable.
well, I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't, not that I don't, hold on. What I'm trying to say is basically, like, we know that he's young. Like, he's in his late 30s, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
41, 2, something like that. That's young.
Yeah.
Your wife that you've been married to for however long dies, and she's been sick for so long, and he's like, he even talks about how he's like, we like kind of all went into hiding. He's like, because I wanted her to save her strength. And he kind of doesn't say it, but you get the feeling he's like, I wanted her to have as much time with Scorpius as like they could.
Mm-hmm.
And like to have them die so young, like when, because I work in a field where you unfortunately see a lot of sick and people dying because I work in healthcare. Like when I hear someone that's like in their 60s die, I'm like, oh my God, that's young. In their 70s, like, and I know that like to me, a lot of people is like, oh my God, someone in their 70s is so old, but like someone in your 40s that's so young. She was in her 30s, right? She's probably, because she's younger than Draco.
He was going into his third year when she died.
Yeah, so she was in her 30s.
Yeah.
So it's just, and he even says, like, later on, he goes, she wanted me, like, she didn't want me to be lonely. She wanted me to find someone. He goes, there's so many times I wanted to use this time turner and just go back and see my wife. So, like, that's so hard for him to talk about his emotions because of how he grew up and how his childhood is. And then they're both grieving the same person. That's just really, I mean, feelings are hard to talk about. And, like, you know, not everyone wants to have a good cry fest together.
Not everyone wants to go see Cursed Child and sob and have their noses bleed. I'm never going to get over that.
I think, too, like you brought up how she wanted him to have somebody, like, they planned to have Scorpius so that he wouldn't be alone. Like, that, I mean, that's sad, too.
Even though, like, it could have been the thing to send her over the edge.
And it kind of was.
You know?
Yeah. But
he
she
even
wanted to give
I
that
wonder
to
how
him.
many years she may have had, or months, or days, or, you know, whatever. I don't know.
And, like, think of, like...
That, in itself, to me, is, you know, I mean, that's a lot of love.
Mhm.
Is that on par with Lily?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That's some love right there.
Well, because, again, you're willing to sacrifice yourself. Because
the
you know,
betterment of-
she knew no matter what, she was going to die early because of this maleddiction that she had. And she knew, and Drake even says, like, she got weaker. And because of, like, having, and Tiffany is the only one that can tell us, like, having a baby is a wonderful thing, yes, but it takes a toll on your body. And, you know, if you're already sick, it's going to make, like, you see, he even said, he's like, it made her weaker.
Worse.
Yeah. Unfortunately. But she was willing to do that to make sure that they had a son, and he was like, it was the best day of our lives.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's... Having a kid's wild.
God, she's so cute. Do you want to talk about Alana for 2 seconds?
Miss Woosh.
She's literally the cutest human I've ever seen in my entire life, and I see myself in the mirror every day.
You're an idiot.
Should we wrap it up?
Please.
Tiffany's ready for bed, but
What?
I'll say this will not be the last time we talk about this.
Oh,
No,
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 it
no.
can't be. And I gotta tell you, I'm gonna fire that sucker up and read it.
Yeah. I wanna...
I don't think I'm ever going to read it.
I gotta
I want to see it
say,
again and again and again.
That's fine, but I need to rehash some lines.
I want to say, too, like, we will be doing Cursed Child after the conclusion of 7 because it is the 8th story, and it's canon.
I mean, it's canon.
It's canon.
It's canon. Sorry, and I don't mean to be that human, but, like, people with Star Wars, The Last Jedi's canon. Like, sorry. It's
Guess
canon.
What? 9's gonna be canon too.
Just because you don't like how a story goes doesn't mean that you can decide if it's canon or not canon.
Well, like,
That's what gets me. It's
this
like,
is the thing, too. It's
you
not
like-
our world.
Yeah.
It's Joe's world. We just get to see it. She's
Did you-
allowing us
We
to
just
see
live
it.
here.
We're
Did
peeping
you
through the
all-
blinds.
did you all enjoy whenever Sirius got killed? Did you all enjoy when Cedric got killed? Did
It's
you
not.
enjoy
That's not
seeing...
canon.
You don't know these things. I love it all. Give me the
But,
death.
like, you know, I feel like people forget maybe whenever these books were coming out, there were things that happened that people didn't like, but it is the story. You know, I mean...
I hate that my favorite character dies. It literally tears me to pieces, but it happened.
Like, and I know I joke about Cedric's death. Here's my thing: when people
How
don't
bad
like
did you
this
feel?
is. No, I don't.
Why don't you put
But
that
here's my thing: like,
sweatshirt
what
on?
people don't get, like, with me, because I'm a very emotional person, and as much as I cry, I hate crying in front of people. I don't like it. You can ask, like, Tiffany, Megan, and Katie have known me for many, many years. My way of my defense mechanism is laughter.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm sad or, like, whatever, like, my way to cheer other people up is to get them laughing.
Make
So,
them
like,
laugh.
that's how I, like, my defense mechanism is. So, like, I don't think it's actually at all funny that Cedric's dead. Like, that's heart-wrenching. It's horrible because, really, he is the nicest guy that we know yet. Like, he's the first innocent person.
And it makes
really,
Sarah
like, it's
sad and uncomfortable, so she jokes about it.
and, like,
She's the literal worst. I'm not gonna... Listeners, she is the worst. If there is some kind of scene in a movie, I'll look at her and she'll start laughing because she can't handle
it well.
the seriousness of it.
because I don't want to cry.
right.
I literally,
it's purely a defense mechanism.
there's this episode of Ellen when
She's the worst, but you're the
when
best.
Kristen Bell was talking about
Sloth.
the sloth thing. She's like, if I'm too low, she goes, I'm crying. Like, if my emotions are too low, she goes, and if my emotions are too high, I'm crying. That's me.
Same.
So, like, I
sucks.
literally could cry at a drop of a hat. So
I cry about everything. When I watch TV, the dumbest stuff, I just start crying. Why?
Yeah, well,
It's so annoying.
I cry at dog movies.
Yeah.
I don't watch dog movies because I don't want
Like,
to cry.
will not watch Toy Story 3. I know I will cry. I know I'm going to cry watching Mary Poppins if I see it. Like, there's so many things that I just know it's going to make me cry and I can't bring myself.
It's not
I'm super
bad.
emotional.
You can feel your feels.
I know,
That's
but, like,
good.
it's just, like, a pain in my butt.
I just don't want you guys to be down on yourself about it.
No,
It's
no,
good
no.
to be
Like, it's
that
just...
empathetic. It's good.
It's my thing is, like, I just, like, if I know it's going to happen, I'm just like, ugh. I have to take I'm a very super emotional person, so I have to, like, take a step back because sometimes it's very
Training.
overwhelming. Yeah.
For sure.
And, like, so with the deaths and everything, like, I, like, rereading all of these books and thinking specifically about Fred breaks my heart.
That's been coming up a lot in the group, too.
It
for
has
some
been.
reason.
People have been talking about it a
so
lot.
sad.
It's, gosh, that's.
But, yeah, it's
the
canon.
worst.
Which is unfortunate, but again, it's Joe's world. And, you know,
Just like
she's
Fantastic
just letting me rent some
Beasts.
space.
Fantastic
It's very
Beasts is
high rent.
also canon.
Yeah.
Who has said that it's not?
There's a lot of-
Aurelius Dumbledore exists. Whether he's a obscurus or a person, we don't know. but
Or
we'll find
he might
out.
be a lie. We don't know yet. He might
Yeah,
not
yeah.
actually exist.
She might be completely
That might be
throwing
a
us
lie.
for a loop.
I don't think she.
What if he doesn't actually exist? What
That'd
if he's
be-
like the limit? The
that
limit
would
does
be
not
it.
exist.
What if Fox is the only Phoenix ever?
This is really.
What if
like,
Fox is Credence?
What if Fox isn't even a bird? What if it's a man?
What if Fox is Dumbledore reincarnated?
Ooh! And he can never die.
Or what if Fox is Ariana?
The
What if-
ultimate
whoa.
Horcrux, Fox.
What if Fox is a fox?
And on that note, we should wrap up this extremely long episode.
One last thing, guys.
You have talked so much.
You need to. It's so good.
Go see it.
If you can see
If
it.
you can.
And I,
Yeah.
again,
You
like,
can't-
I really hope in the
I
future
really-
this
yeah.
becomes more accessible
Yeah.
because it is not meant to be read. It is meant to be seen, whether that is on a screen somehow or they tour and I don't know, but I hope that everybody can see it someday because
Yes.
it's great.
And if you don't have the means to see it right now, just
Trust us.
Be patient.
Trust
Joe.
us and trust in Joe.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
trust.
Hashtag trust
I
in
really
Joe.
hope what they do what they did with Puffs and they film it and then send it
Yeah.
out. Or like put it in
I don't
theaters.
think it'll happen for a couple years,
A while,
but
for sure.
but hopefully in time it
I think
will.
that'd be really cool.
In
I
time.
mean, if she wants to make some cash.
I mean, I don't think she's hurting for money.
Yeah, but she likes to give it away.
She does.
She does.
That's what I was gonna say. She likes to make more money to donate more to charity.
Maybe the actors
She has
could get
Lumos.
money. Yeah.
So, and that's not the only thing she donates to.
Yeah.
Am I wrapping this thing?
Yeah.
Dear Joe, donate to Swish.
I
Hire us. Thank you, bye.
Alright, guys, that concludes this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down.
Hashtag trust in Joe.
Amazing! Just like always! Trust in
Megan.
Sarah's tears.
I like wearing evil shirts, and I like going in elevators and hissing at people like snakes.
I have wee wings and I like to read out of the syringe.
Calling Bob Shorts on you. It's also 11:11 and I make a wish.
Don't spit blue on white!
Get out of the chair.
Maybe a little wet.
Oh, well, Luana. Okay.
Okay.
Don't forget them.
You want me now?
Yeah.
You put that on the mic.
Her little breaths. 'Cause she's stuffy.
Sarah, you're ruining Voldemort Day.